Rejoice, rejoice. The reign of terror is over. Ava is done as the NXT general manager. You guys had to know that I would be the first one to say something when the news broke a few days ago that Ava would be finishing up in WWE as the NXT general manager. And here we are. I am happy. I would have bought balloons and started celebrating and whatnot. Didn't have the time to go out and do that. But, also, it's the kickoff to the road to WrestleMania. To me, more exciting is that Ava is done as the NXT general manager. More power to her. I also saw the statement that she put out the other day on Twitter before she deleted her account. I think what she said is awesome, by the way. I'm in full support of what she said. So, no offense to her as a person, but as an NXT general manager, she was no good. And if you are a follower, a faithful follower of these streams, you would know that me more than anyone is happier than probably anyone else to hear the news from a few days ago that she is officially done as the NXT general manager. We will be celebrating here today on the episode, 636 of #AskGSM. I had to check out the title up above. I don't even know what episode it is here today. It's 636 for Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. I'm Graham GSM Matthews. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for joining us on a Tuesday, as always, answering your questions live, also sent in ahead of time. Always appreciated. We are going back to what I tried out 2 weeks ago. It was a success. The format and including the chat, where we can read off the chat while we go and answering your questions. You can see them here on the video if you are watching on YouTube and watching the video version, that is. That's always appreciated. So we'll be getting into that a little bit later on today. I have to go through the housekeeping stuff real quick, but we are bringing back that format of where you guys can see what you send in during the show and the questions that you sent in ahead of time. I just don't have it up right now because I want to go through the housekeeping stuff real quick before we move on ahead to the questions and whatnot. So last week we couldn't do it. We were really busy last week, had to kind of speed through the video. Today we got some more time to kind of really deep dive into what you guys are thinking coming out of the Royal Rumble, en route to WrestleMania, the Ava general manager stuff. I actually did get questions about that and who I think could replace Ava as the NXT GM. All of which we will be getting into momentarily. Want to shout out the channel members as we get going here today. Alexis, Miss Maud Matthews, Dillon, DiGiacomo, Mrs. Renee, Daniel Malcolm at I'm Quarter on X, DJ Swerve1 at Swerve1, WON that is, on IG, Mr. Marceau at RJ_Marceau on X, John Ritland, Real Honesty with John Ritland on YouTube, Richie as well, Red Planet Wrestling on YouTube, and Average Grunt at gruntwrestling.bluesky.social on Blue Sky. More information on how to become a WrestleRant All Access Pass channel member. $5 a month gets you shout-outs just like that at the beginning and end of every single live stream that we do here on the channel. You also get your questions and topics addressed and answered first on WrestleRant Radio and #AskGSM each week. You also get early and ad-free access to certain videos here on the channel, badges and emojis and the live chats, and so much more. So please support the channel by signing up for one of those. But at the very least, just like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Also very much helps support the channel. You'll be notified every time we upload new content and every single time we're live here on the channel, typically Tuesdays and Thursdays for #AskGSM and WrestleRant Radio respectively. If you want to send in a question to the show, you can do so by tweeting me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the #AskGSM. Find me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Graham.GSM.Matthews. Drop a comment on the post I usually put up on Monday nights, if not on the wall itself. And last but certainly not least, drop your question down below in the comment section on this very video, after it's done processing, of course, and once we're not live anymore. Drop your question down below in the comment section on this very video. I'll include your question in next week's edition. But for those that are joining us live, again, thank you so much as always. I'll get to you in just one moment. But you can also send in a question in the chat. Drop your question in the chat. I will include it here in today's video. We will read them off along. You'll see all the questions in the chat box when I pop on over to that format in just a few moments. Also want to thank everyone who partook, which feels like an eternity ago at this point with how busy the last week has been. But a week ago, we did the 2026 Royal Rumble game, the 14th annual, over at WrestleRant.com. Check some entries. I saw some of you guys try to enter via YouTube and whatnot. By that point, we ran out of spots, but still, it's very much appreciated. Everyone from Facebook, Twitter, that signed up on the website itself, I very much appreciate you. Want to congratulate, I think it was Matt Johnson, Viva Matty Vegas, I believe is his X handle. He won, I think, the men's Rumble, and the women's Rumble, I think, was won by Jordan B. I might have those flipped. Our very own Jordan B. that sends in questions to this show. He actually won the women's Rumble for our 2026 Royal Rumble game. Congrats to them. I will get in contact soon to send out the prizes, that being a WrestleRant t-shirt of your choosing. So, again, thank you so much for partaking. I appreciate the involvement in the game. And here's looking forward to the 15th annual Royal Rumble game in 2027. I feel old already just saying that, but appreciate the participation as always. And I think that's about it. We will pop on over to the chat now. I will go back to the beginning of the chat and start reading through what you guys were sending in before we went live here. So we'll try to catch up to where you guys are now, but I saw a lot of chats, a lot of activity. Again, I thank you, and we will see what you guys were saying. So let me make sure that you guys could still hear me here. I think you can still hear me. If you can't, please let me know. I probably won't see it right now anyway because I'm going back to the beginning of the chat. But nonetheless, give me backshot Solomonster said in the first chat here of the day. Always a goated username, as I say every single week. He said, Graham, are you ready for Tiffany versus Jade Part 28 at WrestleMania? No, I'm not, and I'm not willing to accept that's the match that we get. I fucking hope that's not the match. I like Tiffany. I was happy to see her back in the Rumble over the weekend. Tiffany and Jade, that doesn't work for me, brother. Doesn't work for me, sister. We already saw it a handful of times late last year. Their matches were decent. I was actually not a fan of their SummerSlam match. I thought the rematch they had on SmackDown about a month or so later, I thought that was better, honestly. The triple threat they had on SmackDown with Nia was pretty good up until the ending. And then they had like a quick squash in Saturday Night's Main Event, which would have been the last time that we saw Tiffany, actually. She was squashed by Jade 3 months ago. That was when Jade won the WWE Women's Championship. They probably will run it back, and in storyline, I understand that. But at WrestleMania, that's not the fucking match to do. 2 matches interest me more than that one. I'm not going to sit here and say Jade and Alexa Bliss is a bigger match at Mania than Jade and Tiffany, even though we've seen that already 4 or 5 times. I mean, Jade and Alexa we haven't seen yet, but that's not really a Mania match. I think Tiffany might make more sense in that spot, as much as I hate to say it. The 2 matches that make more sense. Obviously, there's Bianca. There's still a chance Bianca could be back by Mania. Maybe she comes back on SmackDown this week. Maybe she returns at Elimination Chamber. We don't know. Just because she wasn't in the Rumble does not mean that she won't still return at some point between now and WrestleMania. Here's hoping she's healthy and is cleared or is close to getting cleared. I don't know how badly she fucked up her hand, but obviously it's bad enough that's kept her out for almost a year now. And I am kind of happy, I hate to say this too, but I wanted Bianca back, but I'm kind of happy she wasn't in the Women's Rumble, because if she was, she would have had to have won. And she's already won a Women's Rumble, and that's nice. It would have been cool if she won her second one. We already saw Charlotte win her second one a year ago. This was Liv's Rumble. She's been in every single one. She has come close to winning on many of occasions. She should have won this year, and she did. So I'm happy she did. But anyway, if it's not Bianca facing Jade at Mania, obviously that's the ideal situation. Let's take Bianca out of the equation for a moment. You still have 2 other opponents that Jade could realistically face. Jordynne Grace, who she's already feuding with, and I know they've been feuding now for a few weeks. Are you really going to drag that on till Mania? Well, yeah, if it means not doing Jade and Tiffany again at Mania, then yes, I would drag out Jordan and Jade until a WrestleMania. So you have that as an option. And maybe Jordan, has to win Elimination Chamber anyway, so it's not technically like they're feuding nonstop between now and late April. You could kind of take a break from it, do Jade and Tiffany again, Elimination Chamber, if you want to get that out of the way, and then have Jordan win the Women's Elimination Chamber to earn that opportunity at the title at WrestleMania. That is possible. I think that's less likely, though, than Jade defending against Charlotte Flair. Now, Charlotte, they're probably going to want to give a Mania match to. I completely get it. We have not seen Charlotte and Jade yet. That is a big match. Do I think it'd be a good or great match? Honestly, no, I'm not confident it would be a great match. It could be a decent match. It could be a fucking disaster. We had Charlotte and Ronda at Mania one time, and they had a great match at Survivor Series a few years earlier. Their match at Mania was kind of a fucking dud. Charlotte's had great Mania matches with a lot of different people. Rhea Ripley, she had that great Mania match. The Mania 35 main event was okay. Charlotte has worked with the Tiffany match. That was good. I actually enjoyed that match. It was not one of her better Mania matches, but it was good. The triple threat for Mania 32 was excellent. The Asuka match was excellent. But for every match like that, you get the Ronda match. You get the Mania 35 match. 37 she didn't wrestle at. 39 she faced Ripley. 40 she wasn't there for. And then Tiffany she faced last year. So anyway, I would think Jade and Charlotte makes more sense than Jade and Tiffany. They might keep Charlotte and Alexa busy in like the tag title picture. Okay, whatever. I don't think we get Charlotte and Alexa Bliss one-on-one at Mania. I don't think we need to. I kind of like them more as a team for right now. But anyway, hopefully, a long answer to your short question, I fucking hope we don't get Tiffany and Jade, part 28, as you said, at WrestleMania. Nathaniel, what's going on? He said, hey, do you think Roman versus Punk should main event night 2? And how do you feel about Braun Breaker not facing Punk? I am torn on it. The promo last night sold me on Roman and Punk. If we can get more promos of that quality between now and Mania, I'm sold on the storyline, but it's still too early to tell. Did they peak early? We've seen that before where a road to WrestleMania really starts off hot with a great promo or a great segment. And then they have another fucking 8 or 9 weeks to build towards the match, and they kind of fall flat. They don't have enough material. They keep repeating themselves. We kind of saw that with Cena and Cody a few different times on the road to WrestleMania last year. They either didn't really have great promos or they did very early on. Like the road to WrestleMania with them two specifically peaked at Elimination Chamber, and the Mania match sucked anyway. But like the road to WrestleMania with them peaked at Chamber. I hope the road to Mania for Roman and Punk did not peak last night. That promo was great. I think there's a lot of material that could still get to and cover between now and April 18th or 19th. Do I think it should headline the main event night 2 of Mania? Yes, I do. I don't think there's a bigger match they can do this year at Mania than that one. Whatever Drew does, we'll get to who Drew defends against at WrestleMania. Someone asked about it, obviously, as you can see from the headline question for today's video. I don't think whatever that match is should headline night 2. I don't want Roman in another fucking main event at Mania, but this is a main event. If they're doing Roman and Punk and they confirmed it last night, that is your night 2 main event. That's the match. So, yeah, it should main event night 2 of Mania. And then my thoughts on Braun not facing Punk, I think it sucks. Roman and Punk is a big match, and I'm glad we're getting it, provided that Punk goes over. I'm not convinced that he will. Roman winning the fucking World Heavyweight Championship and then not showing up for 3 months is just like 2022 all over again, 2023 all over again. It just doesn't really interest me at all. But I kind of thought, as a lot of people did, and they could still go back to it, I'm sure they will, that when Braun Breaker lost to Punk on the first Raw of the year, it was okay because they'll have Braun Breaker win the Rumble and win at WrestleMania. And even that I wasn't a fan of. I would have preferred that option over what they're doing with him now, which is him, I guess, maybe facing Seth at Mania. I think they just think he's going to be cleared in time, and I think that's who the Masked Man will end up being. It's Rollins, but he's not cleared yet, so they're going to pretend it. They're going to have it be someone else. Okay, whatever. I would have just preferred Braun Breaker winning the World Heavyweight Championship either immediately after he turned on Rollins in October, or you have him win it on the first Raw of the year, at the very least. And they didn't do that. I don't think Braun Breaker is all that damaged. Like, he lost to Punk. He was eliminated from the Rumble in a minute, albeit after being attacked beforehand. So he was protected on a lot of these occasions. He lost to Punk clean, but there was all this fucking interference. He looked good in defeat. He'll be fine. I think Braun Breaker will be okay regardless. He will be a world champion. I just don't really understand why we're delaying the inevitable. I'm happy for Punk getting a longer run as World Heavyweight Champion. I think he's done a great job. But I think you could have done Braun Breaker walking into Mania as the World Heavyweight Champion and Roman challenging him and Braun Breaker beating him. They didn't want to go in that direction. I think they just assume we'll always have Braun Breaker there that we can fall back on. But bro, how much longer are we going to fucking wait? Like, this could have been his year to main event Mania. And instead they're going back to the same names. Now, Punk has only main evented Mania once, that being last year with Roman, actually. Roman having his 11th Mania main event, I think it is absolutely ridiculous. Just completely fucking ridiculous. That is your Mania main event. It's the biggest match they can do. It's an attraction. I will not deny you that. But Roman and Braun Breaker, I mean, Roman would also be main eventing Mania in that case as well. Roman does not always have to main event. What a shocker, I know. He doesn't always have to main event. But with Punk and with Breaker, he would main event, especially if a championship was on the line, which it shouldn't be, but Roman Reigns does not need to be involved in a world title match in Mania. Again, another shocker, but it's the truth. at this point, what are we doing with Breakker long term? Like, if he faces Rollins at Mania, cute. But, like, when does he get back in the world championship scene? This guy should have been world champion fucking months ago. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't really make sense to me. It's like they're dragging it out for no real reason. I think there's a very distinct possibility that Roman Reigns wins the World Heavyweight Championship. Now that I think about it, I don't know if Punk walks out of Mania the world champion. Would Roman really lose 3 consecutive main events at Mania? Probably not. So I'm going to say, I mean, he won God knows how many in a row, so he probably should. I don't know if he will. I think we're looking at a situation where Roman beats Punk and then Braun beats Roman for the belt. The problem, and this would only be a temporary problem, but it would leave Raw without a world champion, because Roman's not fucking defending that championship on Raw like Punk has. Would Roman really work Backlash? I mean, he might. It's in Florida, which I think is where he lives, so it's not far from where he lives. He could fucking make the trip. Would he really be working Backlash in like whatever May pay-per-view they do in the June show and the July show? Maybe. I think they're probably looking at giving Roman the belt at Mania and then Braun Breaker beating him, because they still have yet to do Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker. I mean, that's fine, but I still don't like the idea of Roman already getting back a world championship after only just losing the WWE title 2 years ago, after a 4-year run, mind you. Fernando, what's going on, brother? He said, I'm very happy we are getting Roman versus Punk at Mania. I can't tell you how much I didn't want Cody versus Roman Part 3. Me neither, and I've said this before, and I posted the short that I did here on the channel. I posted it on Instagram. I got a lot of traction, which I was surprised by. And I got a lot of comments on it, and a couple of the comments said, well, why wouldn't you want Cody versus Roman 3? They're tied 1-1 apiece. I agree, and I have said before, Cody and Roman 3 is a match that makes sense. It is a match I want to see, and I think it's a match that would make the most sense when you turn Cody Rhodes heel, which I still would not do imminently. If they do that anytime soon, it would have to really be well executed. But anyway, I still think it's too soon for that. I want to see that match. I don't want to see it at WrestleMania 42. I just don't think it makes sense. There's other stories and better stories you could tell with both men that don't involve each other. Roman and Punk being a prime example. Cody and not fucking Drew. I mean, we're out of the woods now with Cody and Roman, which is good. We're not quite out of the woods yet with Cody and Drew. There is still a very distinct possibility we get that at WrestleMania. I don't like that. I think Drew should be involved in the title match at Mania. I think Drew and fucking Fatu should be the match at Mania. Cody can face Randy non-title in the undercard. Not like third on the show, but it could be a heavily promoted match towards the main event, but not be the main event. Would they really put Drew and Fatu in the night one main event? I honestly highly doubt it. Whatever Cody does will probably main event Mania. He's another one. I love Cody. Does he need to be in his 5th Mania main event for the 5th time in 3 years? No, he doesn't, because he also headlined night 1 of Mania 42, so don't forget about that. He headlined 39, both nights of 40, and last year. He doesn't need to headline this year, too. Fernando said, what are your thoughts on Ava Raine not resigning, there's a big difference, not resigning with WWE, and is she the worst GM ever, or are we forgetting someone worse? Listen, I give Ava a lot of flack. I think she seems like a nice person. She obviously got that role because she's The Rock's daughter, and she absolutely fucking sucked in the ring. She's also had like 4 knee surgeries at something, and she's only like less than 30 years old. So she was not a good talker as a manager for Schism or whatever that fucking group was a few years ago. She was not good in the ring. So what they did was just make her an on-air authority figure. They didn't really know what else to do with her. Apparently she got bored of doing that and she left this past week. So more power to her. If she's got another gig somewhere else, I mean, her father's The Rock. I'm sure she'll be fine. She will not be hurting for money. But what I was going to say was, I think she just did not really take to the role. I am probably in the minority. I know none of us really liked Ava as the GM. The general consensus from what I have seen is that a lot of people either liked her in the GM role or didn't really mind. I always thought she sucked. That being said, I also just don't really know what other role you could have found for her in WWE, so the fact that she left on her own accord, good for her. They didn't have to fire her. She left her on her own terms. Good for her. I don't think she ever would have worked as like a GM on Raw or SmackDown. She just was all over NXT television, and she just did not really sound believable. Acting is a big part of a role like that, and she sucked at that too. So I'm glad she's gone from the position, and they didn't have to fire her to do it, so it's a win-win, really. Is she the worst GM of all time? She can't be. No. I mean, listen, I give Ava a lot of flack. She was not good, but you would have to go with someone like Mike Adamle. I mean, God bless the guy. It later came out that he has like dementia or whatever, and he was probably dealing with the effects of that even back then, where his memory was not the strongest. So I feel bad for saying this, but he did not work well as the Raw GM. He was memorable for the month or two that he was the Raw general manager. I think it was more than a month or two. He was probably Raw GM for like 4 or 5 months, actually. But he would screw up a lot of his lines. His acting sucked. His promos were not good. Mike Adamle has got to be the worst general manager of all time. And I'm sure there's other ones that were worse that I just don't remember. Estrada on ECW was fine. Vicky, I fucking hated Vicky, but she played her role well. Among other people that I'm probably just not remembering. But, they were definitely worse people in that position than Ava, including Mike Adamle, but she was far from the best. I'll tell you that right now. Fernando also said, I think Paige should replace Ava Raine as GM of NXT. What do you think? Who do you think should be the new NXT GM? So a couple of people asked this question. I think it was Millennial Noob and at UAGU91. I'll get to the scheduled questions later. I think they asked this question. My automatic answer, because I'm biased, would be William Regal. He is still the best general manager the WWE has ever had. His stuff on Raw was amazing. Again, I'm biased because that was what got me into wrestling in 2008. But even his work as NXT GM, he wasn't all over the shows, but when he would show up, he played the role very well. He was always business. And when he did the comedy shit, it was entertaining. He was perfect in that position. The issue now is that he's traveling on the road with Triple H. And he's kind of like what Pat Patterson was to Vince, I would assume, is what William Regal is now to Triple H. So I don't know if he would be interested in being at NXT every week or most weeks. He might live in Florida anyway. I would imagine he does. I don't know. But me personally, I would love to see Regal back in that spot to hear the music tonight and he comes back out as the new GM. That would be great. I think more likely it's going to end up being Robert Stone because he's already like an authority figure on the show anyway. I think the girl, I feel bad because she's not been gone for long, Stevie Turner. She was kind of like the GM of Evolve. They fired her a few months ago, which I felt bad about because I thought she actually played her role very well. I think I would actually like her more in that position than Robert Stone. But she was another one where she wanted to do more than just be an on-air authority figure. She was actually a good worker. So, I mean, Ava was not a good worker. You could have done more with Stevie in the ring. They just didn't do that. Robert Stone at this point, I mean, the guy is a wrestler, but he's more of a manager, and he's been around forever. Just make him the GM. What I fear with him is that he'll just be an evil authority figure, which is what NXT does not need. I think WWE in general doesn't really need that. You have Sonya Deville. She's already the authority figure over in TNA. I didn't really love that move, but, I think she can play that role well as she did on SmackDown a few years ago. Maybe she's the co-GM of TNA and NXT. Probably not. Santino being the GM of NXT would be cool. You mentioned Paige. Paige would be great. Paige obviously has GM experience as the GM of SmackDown all those years ago. And it would also be a nice way to kind of reintroduce her to the ring as well at some point, because we know she was cleared by AEW. How could she get cleared by AEW but not by WWE doctors? That's my question. So, and I'm not saying we need Paige for a full-on run, but for the occasional match or the Rumble return, which didn't happen this weekend, I think that'd be great. I love Paige, so I would love to see her back as a GM first before occasionally wrestling. Paige is a good option. We'll see. I think it'll probably end up being Robert Stone, though, if I had to take a guess. Is time running out for Sami Zayn for winning a world championship? I mean, yeah, technically yes, because he's obviously getting older. The longer they wait, the smaller the window gets of him winning a world championship. But at the same time, he's definitely winning a world championship. They do not tell this story with Sami over the span of several fucking years without eventually giving him a world championship. It is the world's longest story, not the world's strongest man like Mark Henry, but the world's longest story with Sami Zayn not winning a world championship. But it's going to make it that much sweeter when he does win it. Now, you do run the risk of will people give a shit by that point? I do think that they will give a shit. I mean, Sami Zayn is good enough, he's talented enough, he's over enough, where I think he'll be fine. And it's not like he should have won the Rumble anyway. I said that going into the show. It would have been great, would have made for a great moment, but Drew just got the belt back. It just wasn't the right time. I think there's a better chance he wins the championship finally in Saudi next year at WrestleMania. Yeah, so time is running out, but I do have confidence that they will finish that story. Otherwise, they wouldn't bring it up as often as they do. Johnny said, Drew versus Cody versus Fatu in the main event of night 1 for the WWE title. I would take that over Drew and Cody one-on-one. That would just be dog shit. Again, to do that again after a fucking 3 stages of hell match, you're going to have them run it back again at Mania. No one can convince me that's a good idea. The triple threat's a better option. I still don't like that, though, because you're still then getting more interaction. I mean, I guess we already have. But then you're getting even more interaction from Drew and Cody between now and Mania. Bro, they've already had like 3 or 4 matches. How many promo segments have they had dating back to fucking August? We're talking about April. That's like an 8-month feud. No, they have to move away from the triple threat. I think Drew and Jacob one-on-ones will suffice, and you can do Cody and Randy. I know Cody and Randy are like, oh, that should be for the title. Maybe so. But you know what? If Jacob walks out of Mania the new champion, that's really all that matters. Cody should not be winning the belt back at Mania. That would just be fucking dumb. At least not now. Maybe at some point down the road, he shouldn't win it at Chamber. He should not win it at Mania. He will be champion again. It just should be no time soon. Fernando asked, what grade would I give the Punk and Roman promo? I think it was fire. It was definitely A tier. That was an awesome promo on Raw last night. Johnny said, I would have had Obafemi eliminate 14 people, including Brock. There was no need or reason for Brock eliminating Oba. I agree. I mean, Oba eliminating 14 people would have broken the record, which is probably why you said that. They were not going to do that. They wanted to tell other stories, because when you have Oba, which I think would have been awesome, don't get me wrong, but when you do a story like that, it takes the shine off of other people who did get elimination. So, like, for example, I think LA Knight eliminated Bronson Reed. Royce Keys, the former Powerhouse Hobbs, got an elimination. I think Theory got an elimination. None of those people would have gotten eliminations if 14 of the eliminations went to Oba. Oba got enough as it is. Oba got like 5 or 6, maybe more than that. He did still look great. So I'm not going to complain. Speaking of Royce Keys, Johnny said, I would have had Royce Keys eliminate Bronson Reed, and then Reed eliminate him in retaliation to set up a feud. That would have been nice, but it doesn't seem like Royce Keys is going to Raw, and that's probably for the best. If he goes to NXT first, I think that'd be okay. I don't think he should go to Raw, though. If Raw is where Obafemi ends up, then Keys should not be on the same show as Oba. I just feel like they're too similar and like as dominant powerhouses. They kind of fit a very similar mold. Keys would be cooked because Oba's already over. People already know Oba. He's established. He's already getting great reactions. And he's more of a guy that they're going to build around than Royce Keys anyway. Royce Keys probably will not reach quite that ceiling. He could. I don't think he will. I think there's a better chance of him having success if he goes to SmackDown. Regardless of whether he's a face or a heel, doesn't matter. Unless he goes to NXT first, which I would not be opposed to. But no, so if you had Royce Keys eliminate Reed, then he would have had to go to Raw, which is the same show that Oba's on, and I don't like that. So it's probably for the best he did not eliminate Bronson Reed. He may have eliminated Austin Theory. He got an elimination on one of the Vision guys. And I forgot who took out Royce Keys, but I'm fine if he's not working with the Vision because he should probably be on SmackDown. Obafemi and Brock is going to be fire. Oba has to win. I mean, I don't know if Oba and Brock will be fire. It could be great, or it could be fucking just a waste of time. I mean, Brock's matches are such hit and miss, and they have been for over a decade now. It scares me that Oba might lose. Oh, he looks good in defeat. In that case, that argument does not work. That would be such fucking bullshit for Obafemi to not beat Brock, who has really nothing to offer at this point of any real value. Oba would absolutely, like you said, have to beat Brock Lesnar. No doubt about it. Would he? I'm not confident. I think there's a decent chance. I would love for the match to be great. I would book that match for Mania. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's going to be this instant classic because Brock has really been phoning it in for well over a decade now, like I said. He really hasn't put in a whole lot of effort in quite a long time. So, would he for that match? I would hope. But there's also a chance that he may not. We don't know. Fernando said, the Yeet entrance is becoming a problem. I'm not saying it should stop, but shorten it for crying out loud. I agree. Listen, I like Jay, but that shit at the Rumble was fucking dumb. It was dumb at War Games. It was even worse at the Rumble. On Raw, it takes like 2 hours for him to make an entrance. You keep doing the Yeet shit, that's fine. I get that it's over. But they are getting way too cute with it, and it's gotten to the point where it's actually annoying. Maybe not for everyone, but I completely agree with that. Johnny said, where would you have put Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle's WrestleMania 19 and Iron Man matches in yesterday's video? So yesterday, for those that missed it, on WrestleRant Ranks, I ranked all of Brock's PLE matches since returning to WWE in 2012. So none of his earlier matches from 02 to 04 are included in the video. But if they were, where would I put them? Probably S tier. The Iron Man match is great. I have not seen it in a very long time. I know I've seen highlight. I'm not even sure if I've seen the full match, start to finish. I think I have. But that match is great. And the Mania match is great too. So I would probably put both in S, if not A tier. I don't know, because like the Brock botch is kind of scary, and that was a black mark on that Mania main event. And it's not Brock's best match ever anyway. I actually enjoy Brock and Rock more from SummerSlam 02. I would probably put them in S. Lesnar and Kurt, the first one for Mania, might be an A tier, but both would probably be an S. Fernando said, I think it was Seth Rollins who attacked Braun under the mask. I agree. I don't know if it was Rollins. I think it will end up being revealed as Rollins. My suspicion is that, and I hate the whole, like, oh, who's under the mask? Like, at this point, people were complaining about it a while ago, and I was like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. At this point, I agree. They do it way too fucking often. Like, stop. It's stupid. And it's not just the Bloodline guys either. Like, they did it with Becky at Clash in Paris. They did it with Austin Theory. They're doing it with this mystery person. They did it with Fatu when he revealed himself. That wasn't a drawn-out angle, but he came out with a mask on. And I think they did it at least one other time or two in the last several months. But anyway, I think it will end up being revealed as Rollins, but he wasn't at the show, and it wasn't him who did it. Like in real life. In storyline, it was Rollins, but in real life, that wasn't Rollins because he's not cleared yet, and that's why they didn't want to reveal him. So that's what I think will end up happening. And they honestly may not know. Their plan might be, we will have a B Rollins, but if Rollins isn't back in time, we'll have a B someone else. It's very possible what happened. And that could be what the case is. Johnny said that Yeet entrance should not have happened during the Rumble. I agree, it was dumb. And the stupid thing is that Jey Uso did not come through the crowd last year. He actually won the fucking Rumble last year, which I was happy about. But he came through the stage last year. He came down the ramp. And he was doing the Yeet entrance even then, I think. I'm pretty sure, right? So why would this have been any different? And what's even worse is that this was like even a bigger stadium than the stadium in Indianapolis last year. So it took even longer for him to get to the ring, which was ridiculous. Hold on, lost the chat there for a second. Fernando said, Drew versus Cody versus Jacob for the WWE Championship, and Mania is my pick. I mean, again, me too. I would take that over Drew and Cody one-on-one by a fucking country mile. I still prefer Drew and Jacob one-on-one, but Cody will probably be included. He's kind of at the Cena level from like 08, where it's not really about him, but they kind of have to include him because it's a Mania main event. It wasn't about him in 08 or 09 at Mania, really. And he won in 09. He lost in 08. But, he's just like, oh, it's John Cena. Got to put him in a world title match at Mania. And you really don't. But they did for 6 or 7 straight years. He was in a world title match at Mania's 21, 22. Not all these matches main evented. But he was in a world title match. Cena was at Mania's 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. 7 consecutive straight Manias. And then again at 29. So 8 Manias he competed or was defending, challenging for a world championship, which is pretty insane. And I feel like Cody's in that new spot, which I don't agree with, but I like Cody. Like, the match has to make sense. I really do not want more of Drew and Cody for the next 2.5 months. What percentage do I give The Rock not being a part of Mania? A pretty big percentage. I know people have the conspiracy theory, his movie, The Smashing Machine, his performance in that movie was nominated for an Oscar. He must be back soon. But, like, for fucking what? Like, Roman's feuding with Punk. We're not getting Roman and Rock. I mean, I could see Rock being involved in Mania next year if he gets a big payday for it. If he was not involved in Mania last year, when it actually made sense for him to be a part of Mania, then maybe I say that like there's no reason for him to be at Mania this year. Then he will be at Mania because we said it doesn't make sense. What would he even do? Like, face Cody? I mean, they can finish that story, but I don't think that's going to happen. Nor do I think it really needs to. I feel like we're just past that at this point. At this point, don't even really care as much as I did a year or two ago. Fernando said, Jade versus Charlotte at Mania is my pick unless Bianca comes back during or after Elimination Chamber. I agree. I completely agree. Fernando also said, I was hoping Raquel would win the title last night. Raquel versus Liv was a more intriguing main event for the women's WWE title for Mania. I disagree. Raquel's not as over at Stephanie. Stephanie's a better worker. The match last night was good. It was not great. That was not a great street fight. It was not a great match. And it falls on both women. I like Raquel. I think she's improved a lot. Raquel and Liv has more story, but I'm glad she didn't win the belt. I think Stephanie, if she doesn't hold the belt going into Mania, you don't have a spot for her on the Mania card, really. She's not challenging for the IC title. That's probably AJ and Becky. And they're only going to have so many women's matches at Mania. So anyone thinking, oh, they're definitely doing Liv and Stephanie. I can guarantee you of that. That's also a better match, by the way. I'm sorry, it just is. I like Raquel, but that's just not the match. At least not this year. And I said that last week and the week before that too. But look at it this way. They're probably going to do something for the tag titles. And if they don't do something, I mean, I'm sure they will. The Bella Twins are back. Tag title match, AJ Becky, Liv Stephanie, Jaden whoever. I mean, that's 4 women's matches right there. You could afford to do more than that, but they're probably going to want to do 2 women's matches both nights. Like, I don't think we're getting Asuka and Io at WrestleMania, which is kind of bullshit. They were teasing that and they were building towards it. Now they've kind of moved away from it. Fuck that. Yeah, I mean, that's probably it. That's probably the match for Mania. I think the Bella Twins will be at WrestleMania. Rhea and Io one-on-one, I would prefer that over them defending the tag titles against, let me check my notes, the fucking Bella Twins. That's probably not happening. It'll probably be some multi-team match. Okay, whatever. I mean, the division's been good recently, so I'm not going to complain too much. But the Bella Twins, I get it, but I'm not a fan. What was your favorite spot in the women's and men's Rumble? I don't know. Honestly, anything with Sol Ruca was great. I thought she was a real breakout star in that women's Rumble. So I don't know if I have an exact moment that was my favorite in the match. Anything she did was great. The finish, I liked Liv winning. For the men's Rumble, Braun getting eliminated immediately was pretty shocking. I didn't have an issue with that. People are like, oh, are they burying Braun Breaker? Bro, he got fucking attacked beforehand. He'll be fine. He's okay. It may not have been ideal, but I thought it was a nice shock to really make things less predictable. Oh, Braun lasted until the end. It's too predictable. He gets eliminated first. Oh, he's getting buried. Like, people just don't know what the fuck they want. Anyway, maybe Royce Keys coming out. I was really happy to see him. I thought he had a good showing. So, Braun Breaker, or Oba rather, going one-on-one with Brock, I thought was cool. I am skeptical what that ultimate one-on-one match looks like, but their interaction in the Rumble was quite great. I could probably name you more moments I did not like from both Rumbles. I enjoyed both Rumbles overall, but some of the order of eliminations and how people got eliminated and by who, I wasn't a big fan of. Like Ilya hitting Brock with the chops, and then Brock, I guess unsurprisingly so, but just chucking Ilya right over the top rope. Like, fuck you, man. Fuck you. I thought that was garbage. Ray Phoenix coming in and just immediately basically getting eliminated like fodder. That pissed me off. That pissed me off more than the Rusev one. The Rusev one, it's like, that guy he's a stepping stone at this point. It is what it is. Who gives a shit? The guy's 40-something. Who cares? Ray Phoenix should not be treated like a jobber. That was fucking annoying. At that point, just put in Kit Wilson and have him get chucked in a minute. Like, who cares? I was shocked he wasn't in it. What grade do I give the finish of AJ versus Gunther? The finish of it? A. I thought the match was great. I'm sad that Styles is probably done. It's looking like he's probably done for good, which I hate to say, but it's looking like that's the case. But the match was great. Thought the finish was great. No complaints. Johnny said, letter grade. What letter grade would I give to these Road to WrestleMania stories? The yes moment for Mania 30. Finished the story with Cody and Roman, I imagine. Shawn and Austin for Mania 14, and the Mega Powers exploding. I mean, most of those are A's. Mega Powers exploding is A. I mean, that's one of the best stories they've ever told. So I would go with that A. It's kind of hard to give the yes moment and the finish the story letter grades because both moments, they fucked up. Like the end game they nailed. They nailed the end game in both instances where they ended up with both stories. The only reason both stories were as big as they were was because the company legit fucked up and took the title shot away from Cody 2 years ago, which was dumb when The Rock came back. And honestly, the road to WrestleMania that year was fun, but people tend to remember certain moments and not the entire thing. They announced Cody and Roman early in February. They still had another 2 months to build towards it. The Rock was around probably more than Roman was, and not every segment those guys were in were great. So I still give it an A, but probably an A-. Same thing with Mania 30. They really had to be forced into that shit. And Bryan didn't even get into the Mania main event until mid-March, bro. He was in the chamber match and got eliminated there. I think even at that point, they were settled on doing Batista and Bryan until the backlash got real bad and they had to pivot. Honestly, of all these stories, I would probably go with HBK and Austin at B. Gotta be honest, because you have Mike Tyson in there, which was great. The match wasn't all that great. Shawn was on his way out. It wasn't really about Shawn and Austin. I thought their match at King of the Ring the year prior was actually better. Just going back and watching both bouts, I think that match at King of the Ring was better. It was more about Shawn Michaels and Mike Tyson than it was about, or Austin and Tyson than it was Shawn Michaels and Tyson, or Shawn and Austin rather. So, that would probably be maybe a B+, because a lot of people remember that road to WrestleMania in the Attitude Era and whatnot. It was a very big deal. I think the other road to WrestleManias were probably, people are going to be like, oh, fucking dare you say that about, to finish the story in Yes Moment. But, I lived through those. So it's easier for me to say because I lived through the first two and not Austin and Shawn Michaels. Maybe I'm being unfair, and that is also an A-level story. Just, I remember the match just not being good, or not great anyway. It's fine, but it's not great. Shawn's back was cooked at that point, so I'd probably go B+ for that, but A for the others. A- for Yes Moment and finish the story because that shit was just a giant mess for both. The Mega Powers was carefully planned out, and they fucking nailed it, and that was the only story of all three that they knew what they were doing, and it was great. And the end game was great. The match was great. Everything about that was great. So that's easily an A or A+. Fernando said, who is your MVP of both Rumbles? Mine is Lash Legend for the women and Obafemi for the men. I think that's fair to say. I might even go Soruka for the women. I thought she had a great showing in there, and she was in there for the final three. Lash did get a lot of elimination. She did look good in there. I would still probably go Soruka, but Lash is an honorable mention. I could see that. Oba for the men? Yeah, probably Oba for the men. He was in there for a long time. Had a great showing. Either him or Javon Evans. I think Javon Evans also lasted a really long time in the Rumble and looked great. So either one of those guys. Fernando said Jericho's first debut in WWE was in Chicago, interrupted The Rock, I think. Jericho for sure will return in Chicago for the Elimination Chamber, interrupting someone. Yeah, I could see that. That would be a great moment. I saw someone say that recently, he debuted in Chicago. Could he return in Chicago? Yeah, I could see that. I didn't really have to. That doesn't have to be why. You can make the same case for the Rumble. His last appearance in WWE was in Saudi, in a Rumble. He could have been back in Saudi at the Rumble, in the Rumble. They didn't do that, which is fine. I don't even know if Jericho's completely free yet. That's another thing, by the way. He's still on the roster page, and there's still conflicting reports if he's free or not. Who the fuck knows? But I'm not going to say he will be a Chamber. I thought for sure he would be in the Rumble. I am shocked. Honestly, I'm more surprised that he wasn't in it than if he did show up. So honestly, at this point, I don't know if he'll be a Chamber. It'd be nice, but that's not a guarantee. Fernando also said, do you remember when Mick Foley retired versus Triple H in Hell in the Cell, but came back for one night only a few months later in the same year at Mania 2000? Can you see something similar with AJ Styles? No, I know what you're talking about. That was fucking dumb. And Mick Foley has even said he regretted doing that. Legit, the only reason why he accepted to come back was because it was the main event of Mania. The match wasn't good. He didn't want to do it. He really had to be convinced to do it. And then he went on to wrestle a whole other bunch of matches. Some were great. Some were not. I take AJ at his word. When he's done, he's done. In WWE anyway. It would be pretty fucking dumb for Gunther to end his career and then for AJ to come back and get his win back at Mania. That'd just be stupid. So, no, I don't see that happening with AJ. I don't think it should. I could maybe see him going elsewhere. I'm a little less convinced of that. I never even thought it was a set-in-stone thing anyway. I'm even less convinced now after what happened to the Rumble and the way people have talked about it. But no, I don't see that happening. I don't even really see what the point of that would be. It's not like AJ is getting offered the main event of Mania, so what would even be the point? Daniel Malcolm, what's going on, brother? He said, hope you're doing well, brother. Fernando said, I got to backtrack a lot here. See a lot of comments here in the chat. We will catch you up, I promise you guys. As you can see the chat here as you know. So you know where I am in the chat. We will catch up. Fernando said, with the Bellas challenging the women's tag team titles, WWE should book a TLC match for the women's tag team title match for the tag titles at WrestleMania. The women's division may never be this stacked and talented again. I agree with the second part of that the women's tag division may never be this stacked or talented again. My issue is with the first part. Rhea, Io, Bayley, Lyra, maybe even Charlotte and Alexa being in a TLC match at Mania sounds awesome. Do you really want Brie fucking Bella in a TLC match? Let alone Nikki, but definitely Brie. Brie being back alone is a stretch. You put her in a TLC match, that is disaster waiting to happen. I might deal with it because the other women in that match would be awesome. Her involvement alone sounds fucking terrible. So I don't know if a match with those... I mean, honestly, though, you know what? You make a good point. With the division being this stacked, I already mentioned that. But here's what I said earlier. We probably are getting a multi-team match for the tag titles of Mania, okay? Doing a fatal four-way for the women's tag titles of Mania, been there, done that. I don't really give a shit about that. Doing a tag team turmoil, we've seen that at Mania. I don't really give a shit about that. Listen, if you want to make the match interesting, you give it a step like that, so I could see that. I will get over my skepticism over Brie Bella being in a TLC match. Nathaniel said, would you want Braun Breaker versus Adam Pearce at Mania? Absolutely not. No. I understand like the story they're telling with the two. That's not a match you do at Mania. That's not, like they didn't even do Stone Cold and Vince at Mania, let alone Braun and Adam Pearce. So let's say no. Eric, what's going on? He said, how many Screams movie did Wes Craven do? I don't know. You're going to have to ask the chat. I am not sure. I will be seeing the new one. I know the whole controversy around it. I'm not even confident it'll be good. It might be garbage. But we're going to find out together. I'm going to go see it. AJ Watson, what's going on, brother? He said, what's up, Graham? Can you see WWE bringing back Hell in the Cell for the Punk Reigns match at Mania? I feel that the story can call for it and would make the match even better. I could see that. With this being their first one-on-one match since Punk's been back in the company, I would not do that for the first match. You can go back to it in a rematch and do it then. If they did do Hell in the Cell, I would not complain because the match would be really good. I think the match doesn't need it, though. First match, especially at a Mania, they had a triple threat last year, I know, but this match has nothing to do with any of that. You could do it. You could do it, Hell in the Cell. I think that'd be cool. We haven't seen Hell in the Cell since Punk beat Drew about a year and a half ago, so it's been a long time. I would not be opposed to it, but we've seen a lot of Hell in the Cell matches at Mania. That might be one of the better ones. I don't think it needs it, so I'm going to say no. But I wouldn't have an issue with it, and I can see it. I just don't necessarily know that it needs to happen. If it was Punk and Rollins, yes. Punk and Roman, with where they are in the feud, they already hate each other, but not necessary. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. Nathaniel said, you didn't like Ava, how come? I already mentioned this, but I thought she fucking sucked. I thought her acting just sucked. I mean, I don't know, just something about the way that she speaks. I mean, again, nothing against her personally. I don't want to make fun of her. I kind of am, but listen, she seems nice. My next door neighbor is nice. Do I need him to be the next NXT general manager? No. I'm not even saying I would be better in the role than Ava was. Some people just cannot do certain things. I can't do certain things. I'm sure you can't do certain things. We probably can't do the things that Ava was doing on TV, but neither can she. So, out with Ava. Out you go. Bring in someone that's actually competent in the role, that is less annoying and whatnot. But anyway. Long live 4 roots, 1 tree. I agree, Daniel. Long live 4 roots, 1 tree. I would say roll the credits, but we know she can't do that either. Eric said, when is Vinny or Brian, who hates her, from Meltzer's podcast? I think it's Brian. I don't listen to the Meltzer podcast, but I've seen the clips of what you're talking about. They don't. So I've heard the clips. They didn't like Ava as a character. They thought she just didn't know how to do her job because it was constantly chaotic. The way they portrayed her is what they had an issue with. My issue with Ava is how she does the job that she has to do on television, not as a character. I think whatever, Simone Johnson, whatever her real name is, I think she sucks in the job of as NXT GM. Again, I'm sorry. I'm just calling it how it is. Other people would probably disagree, and that's fine. I'm not even saying I would be good, like I said. A lot of people, I think she sucked in the ring too. She just isn't cut out for pro wrestling, it feels like. They tried her out as a manager. She sucked at that. They tried her out in the ring. She sucked at that. They tried her out as an on-air authority figure. She was better at that than the other two things. Still not great. Like, her promos just sound stiff as a cardboard. There's like nothing going on behind the eyes. She got better in recent months, but she still was not that good. Johnny said, My Way Rock in Stone Cold WrestleMania 17. Once in a lifetime. I don't know what that's in reference to, but that is a great video package. Fernando said, I loved what Ava had to... Are you saying like that? Are you going back to the grading of the Mania stories? Is that what you're talking about? If you are, then the My Way Rock Stone Cold story, A. And Once in a Lifetime? Probably B+. I thought the promos they cut were great, but they were kind of far and few between. Rock was not really on the road to WrestleMania a lot. Between the Rumble and Mania, he wasn't really on Raw quite a lot. Cena had to do a lot of the heavy lifting. But I was still hyped for that match, and the match ended up being a lot of fun. So I'd probably go B+. Fernando said, I loved what Ava had to say. It's a shame WWE doesn't let these people speak out. Speaking out doesn't cost companies money as long as it's nothing crazy or violent. I completely agree. I said that on Twitter the other day. Bless Ava. I shit on her for the job that she does as NXT GM. But she came out on Twitter the other day and said, I can now say this, something to the effect of, I can now say this with my full chest, fuck ICE, and I think something else too. And I say, good for her. I say that's great that she's speaking out. It makes me more... It makes me, when I hear something, I mean, again, like I said, one, I agree, and two, I'm glad she said it. But three, it makes me more when I hear her, like the way that she worded it, not sad. I don't know if sad is the right word. But it's unfortunate that she feels like she has to wait until she's no longer with the company to say shit like that. I saw, I think it was Billie Eilish, and maybe a few other people, actually. Bad Bunny, I think, may have said something. I mean, they don't work for a company necessarily. They are actors and musicians and shit. But they feel like they're saying that because it won't cost them opportunities. And again, honestly, any company that were to fire you, and again, it's not like she's being violent, like you said, or saying like, oh, I want this person to die. Like, she's not saying shit like that. She just said, I fucking hate ICE. Honestly, one, I agree, and two, I don't really think there's anything wrong with that. But for someone to feel like they can't express themselves, as far as that goes, it's not like, and don't get it twisted. I could see someone saying, well, someone expresses themselves by being anti-gay. Can't they do that? Like, no, there's something wrong with that. Like, there's something wrong with saying shit like that. So please do not feel that way or say that shit, because that shit's wrong. What Ava said, I don't think is wrong. You may not agree with it, and that's fine. And we're not going to completely get into that here. I just think it's unfortunate that people in WWE, I guarantee you, and I'm sure in other companies too, feel like they can't say that sort of shit, more so in WWE, because we know of their dealings with the current president. We know where they lie politically. We know who they're friends with. So, of course, they're not going to feel like they can say that shit publicly because they don't want their job or spot to be in jeopardy. Punk, I feel like, is probably one of the more outspoken people, but even he's kind of bit his tongue on certain stuff. Like, he doesn't come out and say certain shit. He does on his Instagram. Like, he'll support certain shit. It's not like he's really dialed that back all that much being in WWE, which is great. A lot of people they don't have that same luxury because they feel like if they do speak out against it, about their great Lord and Savior, WWE's Lord and Savior, that they might lose their spot or their push or their job or whatever. So it's unfortunate that she feels that way. And I feel like that is the culture backstage, because the funny thing is that you would think it would have been worse under Vince. They're actually far more out about the political stuff now than they were when they were under Vince, which is kind of crazy. Richie, what's going on, brother? He said, Cutie Matthews is back. Cutie Pie Matthews is back. I am indeed. Johnny said Kofi Mania. I'd probably go, again, these are all A-level stories. Kofi Mania was great. I was there for a lot of those segments. The match was great. They kind of lucked into that one too. That wasn't like a pivot. They did pivot, but it wasn't because fans were like revolting against the direction they were going in instead. It was more of an organic thing, and that made it even better. And it was great to see Kofi in such a prominent spot going into Mania and win the belt of Mania and have a 6-month run before it abruptly ended at the hands of Brock Lesnar, which was bullshit. But everything else about that story and the build was great. So probably A. Definitely the best thing going into Mania, the road to WrestleMania that year for sure. Richie said, "Yo, are we Ava Raine stands now?" I'm not an Ava Raine stan, quote unquote, but I do agree with what she said the other day on Twitter. So for that alone, she earns me. She has earned a lot of respect from me. I mean, I already didn't not respect her, but I thought it was cool that she did that. And also, it is sad also that she feels like she was hated on so much for saying that shit, and harassed and whatever for what she said, that she had to delete her account. That really sucks. Johnny said, irresistible force meets a movable object. With the Hogan and Andre story. Again, another A-level story. It's another great story going into WrestleMania. 4 cuties, 1 pie, exactly. That's what Daniel said. Taker Kane, Mania 14. Again, another A story. It was the best build probably in that entire show going into that WrestleMania. Probably A. The match wasn't amazing. I mean, worst B+. I know it sounds like I'm giving out A's like candy, but you're just naming great stories. Orton and Triple H is a B. The story itself was very good. The build was great. The match sucked. The match was completely underwhelming. That gets a solid B. Streak versus career, A story. Amazing video package, one of the best in WWE history between Shawn and Taker at Mania 26. Daniel said, Roman coming out of 26 when I had 27 was sheer pain. Yeah, so Daniel had 27 in the Royal Rumble game. He was this close to winning. Maybe next year, but he was close. He was close. Johnny said, Batista's road to Mania 21. Again, another A story. It was great. The turn on Triple H, the contract signing, the Triple H, and then putting him through a table was awesome. Nathaniel said, did you hear one of the Home Alone actors died? Yes, that was the mom, Catherine O'Hara. She died on Friday, which was very unfortunate. And the funny thing is, I feel like she's been in a lot. I feel like she's been in a lot of shit the last few years. Let's see. I mean, I know she was in, what's it called? What's the show? The Last of Us. She was in The Last of Us. She was in that movie I watched a few years ago. I know she's in Beetlejuice. I know that. Schitt's Creek, I'm aware of. I didn't watch Schitt's Creek, but I know she was a big part of that show. Obviously, I know her from Home Alone. Nightmare Before Christmas, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, she was in the studio. She was great in the studio. I watched that last year. Really good show. Last of Us, I mentioned. The Wild Robot, forgot she was in that. Yeah, I feel like she's been in a lot of shit the last couple of years, like more than she was in prior to that point. But yeah, The Wild Robot, she was great. Argyle is the movie that I saw. She was in Argyle. That movie was not good, but she was fine in it. The John Candy I Like Me documentary, we watched that about a month ago. Great documentary. Fantastic. Elemental, forgot she was in that. Over the Hedge, forgot she was in that. She was in A Series of Unfortunate Events, so she was in the movie and the show? Interesting, I didn't know that. Was that canon, or both of them canon to each other? I did not know that. Monster House, I think I've seen that. I know what it is. I don't know if I've seen that. I'm looking at just Pippi Longstocking. Wow, I watched that a lot as a kid at my grandmother's house. Did not know she was in that movie or who she voiced in it. Brother Bear 2. She was probably in shows. Oh, she was in the Addams Family movie, the 2019 one. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the shit that she was in. I just know her as the mom from Home Alone, but she was in a lot of shit. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get back to the chat here. Boom. Yeah, so Rip, she died way too young. She was only 71. Not like 45, but still, that's still too young. Fernando said, can the people complaining that Royce Keys did not get a big pop at the Royal Rumble shut the F up? It was his WWE debut, of course. He didn't get a huge pop. He wasn't a big star in AEW. A couple things, by the way, on that. First of all, I agree. Second of all, he did get a reaction. So I haven't seen a lot of that criticism. Oh, he didn't get a big pop. He wasn't over. All right, a couple factors. One, he fucking did. I've watched the clip like 10 times. When his music hits and when they show Powerhouse Hobbs, it gets a bigger reaction than most people that came out for the Rumble. So that's not true. Anyone that's saying they didn't get a pop. Second of all, I saw someone say they don't get AEW in Saudi Arabia. So there may not be a lot of AEW fans in Saudi Arabia. They don't air the show there. It might be on Max. I don't know if Max is available over there. I'm not sure. That's one thing to consider. And the third thing, what was the third thing? It was his debut, like you said. I mean, but yeah, they were in fucking Saudi. I mean, I guess that was the third thing I was going to say. They're in Saudi Arabia, okay? If they were in Chicago, would have gotten an even bigger reaction because people in the States know him. And he's also not the biggest star either. Like, it's not like it's Cody Rhodes or Punk or Jade was already a bigger star in AEW, I would argue, than Powerhouse. All the other people went to NXT, like Ricky and Ethan and Blake. Who else? Penta got a big reaction when he debuted about a year ago. Phoenix got a good reaction. I mean, not at the Rumble, but when he debuted, he got a decent reaction. He debuted in Chicago, so he got a good crowd that night. I thought Hobbs did well. He was received well. It's fine. He may not get over day one. He may not get over at all, but it's worth a shot and he's worth the pickup. The guy is very good. I'm a big Powerhouse Hobbs fan. I'm happy for the guy. Nathaniel said, how do you feel about Brie Bella returning, and do you think the Bella should win the tag titles? I don't give a fuck about Brie returning. I'm going to be honest with you. It means a lot to a lot of people. So I'm not going to sit here and say, as a lot of other people have on Twitter, well, why are they back? Who cares? I don't care. There are a lot of people who do care. There are a lot of people that grew up watching Total Divas. There were a lot of people that got into wrestling because of Total Bellas and Total Divas. There's a lot of people that would call the Bellas their favorite wrestler, that got the Bellas, that got them into wrestling. Lyra being one of them. Indy Hartwell being another one. Cora Jade probably being another one. Maybe not them specifically, but they were fans during the heyday of the Bellas. And they were big stars during a period where the women's division wasn't really big stars relative to that period, sure. But they had a lot of longevity, a lot of success. I get why they're back. I think Brie sucks. I don't think Brie's all that good. I think Nikki surpassed her in the ring a long time ago. Nikki's also a bigger star than Brie. Brie on her own would be abysmal. Hopefully we don't get a rerun of their split from 2014, which sucked. If anything, if you bring back Brie, they're a tag team, which is what they're doing. So, okay, whatever. Will or should they win the tag titles? Honestly, yeah. I mean, there's been so much talk of them winning the tag titles since they introduced the damn things back in 2019. And they would come back and they would leave and they were in the Rumble 4 years ago and they weren't brought back for Mania and all this other shit. Just give them the titles, get it over with. If we want less of Brie Bella on the show, have her accomplish her goal sooner rather than later so she can go away quicker. And again, no disrespect to the person. I just don't really think we need Brie Bella on WWE television in 2026. But if they're going to utilize them in the tag team division, fine, whatever. I'm okay with that. Why did Bianca have to win if she would have entered? Because she would have been gone for an entire year. And if Bianca came back after a year, get this big reaction, it would have overshadowed Liv's win. So that is why if Bianca was in it, she had to win it. Because Bianca should win to face Jade. You could set up Jade and Bianca another way, but I think it would have been really shitty for Liv and Bianca, to be honest. People would have been pissed. People would have been pissed that Bianca did not win. If she was in it, people would have been pissed that she did not win. Because she's been gone for so long, people would have been complaining, how the fuck do you bring her back and not have her win, blah, blah, blah. And I'm glad she didn't win. I'm glad it was Liv. But that's why she would have had to win. That's why she would have had to win if she had entered. Richie said, do we give Roman the World Heavyweight Championship so then we can set up Reigns versus Rollins one-on-one with a conclusive ending to that program? You can do that without the championship, though. I really don't think that match needs the belt. They probably would have done it for the belt had Rollins not gotten hurt. He probably would be champion to this day. And Roman would have won the Rumble and faced Rollins at Mania, which would have... I mean, I want that match at Mania, but I still don't think Roman had to win the Rumble. But I guess they wanted to have him win the Rumble to set the match up early, sell some more tickets. He won't be around again for another month. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so I don't think Roman and Rollins needs a championship. I think that sells itself. I do want that conclusive ending to that feud. I agree with that. But I don't think you need to give Roman the World Heavyweight Championship to do that. Because then where does the match even happen? At SummerSlam or earlier, it should be Braun Breaker facing Roman and taking that belt. Assuming Roman wins the championship. I'm already like subjected to the idea that it's going to happen because it's fucking Roman Reigns. I'm not going to be shocked. But if you do Roman and Rollins, Roman would win because you're not, I guess you can give the belt to Rollins who would drop it to Breaker. Enough. Just give Braun Breaker the belt soon, not like next year. You do Roman and Rollins in like Night of Champions? I guess. They did Cena and Punk in Night of Champions last year in Saudi Arabia, so I guess why the fuck not? But I don't know. I think you could still do that without the championship. And maybe a Mania next year. Who knows? Fernando said, did you watch the MJ Doc Pick trailer? What the fuck are you talking about? Michael Jackson, Doc Brown? Oh, Michael. Okay. I did say Michael Jackson. What I meant to say just now was Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox, Doc Brown. You're talking about documentary pick trailer. You worded it weird. You're talking about the Michael Jackson trailer. No, I did not watch it. If the movie gets like rave reviews, I'm sure I'll watch it at some point. I still have yet to see Elvis. I heard good things about that. I'll watch that at some point. But no, I did not see the trailer. I don't really care that much, but if I hear it's great and I want to be a part of the conversation of people who had seen it, then yeah, I'll probably see it at some point. Might just wait for it to hit streaming. Nathaniel said, did you like Stephanie's new theme song? No, fuck no. That song sucked, bro. That song was terrible. It pissed me off so fucking much when they did that last night. I'm like, this woman literally said, it is on public record, that they asked her to change her music last summer when she got called up to the main roster. And she said she begged Sean, her boss in NXT, who she was close with for the short time she was in NXT, Sean, please, I don't want to change my music. I love the song. People like the song. Do not change it. And Sean clearly got what he wanted because they didn't change the song. We had to know it was inevitable. Stephanie's been using a production song. It's generic. Who gives a shit? This song fucking slapped. The song was awesome. I loved her theme song. And then they changed it to some generic crap. Theme songs fucking matter. Do you think Kit Wilson, who I think is good, do you think Kit Wilson would be nearly as over if it wasn't for his, catchy entrance music? No, he would not be. All the people with great entrance music, I guarantee you, would not be as over without the songs. It is such a big part of the person's presentation. Jey Uso would be over. He would not be as over without the music and the yeeting shit. That's just WWE. The music makes a big, big difference. That's also wrestling in general. I think Jordynne Grace would be more over with her original music, again, which was a production theme or a custom song, whatever the fuck. Who cares? The song was good. Pay what you have to use it. I don't care what you have to pay. It makes me scared because MJF, his theme song is in the public domain, meaning it's not made by AEW. WWE can use it when he comes over. It's inevitable. When MJF comes over, he can use that song. They will use that song when he comes in, but at some point they're going to change it. They're going to want to own whatever the fuck it is. They're going to want to own it. They're going to want to put their own spin on it. They're going to want to have it Def Rebelled or whatever the fuck. And that's going to make me even more mad. But yes, I heard Stephanie's new song. It sucks. Give it back. Give her the old song back. It's actually very fitting, too. I'm going to be writing an article tomorrow for Bleacher about not just women, but people in WWE that need new music because the current theme song situation is terrible. So keep an eye out for that article tomorrow on Bleacher. Nathaniel said, also Jey Uso took a long time to get into the ring of the Royal Rumble. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. It was terrible. Andy, what's going on? He said, they can't run Drew Cody for Mania. I agree. They can't. They could. They could do it. They shouldn't, and I hope they won't, and I don't think they will, but let's fucking hope not. At least one-on-one. Noob said last night between Punk and Roman was peak, but it seems like the Z-Bros are going to explode. Oh, they already have exploded, Noob. They already have exploded, but I agree. That promo last night from the two of them was great. Andy said they have to pivot to Cody Orton or Cody Fatu or something. It can't be Cody Fatu because if you do Cody Fatu, I like the idea because they didn't really have a match at Saturday Night's main event, so you could do that at Mania. What do you do with Drew? That's the problem. Drew and Oba would have been fine because Drew interrupted his match at Saturday Night's Main Event back in December, but Oba's on Raw. So what are you left with? Drew and Ilya or something? I think the match would be cool, but I don't think they do that as a Mania match. Drew and Priest, we've seen. Drew and Orton, who's also free, we've seen. So Drew has to be involved in the title mix. I would not take the belt off of Drew. I think that'd be a mistake. Drew should be at Mania as the WWE champion. But I agree. I would do Cody and Orton. Cody eliminated him from they didn't eliminate each other, but they did have a miscommunication. More tension. But I would do Cody, Orton, and Drew Fatu. Just my opinion. Richie said, I'm sure I'm in the minority here regarding Braun, but I don't think he's made enough to beat a top guy like Punk clean yet. I'm still of the belief that he should win the Money in the Bank and cash in on someone. That's if Roman wins the World Heavyweight Championship from Punk. We get a proper feud with Roman and Rollins. Braun wins Money in the Bank. Seth wins the title and gets cashed in on the same day. Okay, so I guess going back to what you said earlier about like my issue with Roman and Rollins being for the belt. That's not a bad idea. My thing is, I know you said he's not made enough to beat Punk clean. I'm fine. If he didn't beat Punk clean and he cheated, it doesn't matter if he cheats. That doesn't bother me. If Braun Breaker did not beat Punk clean, I'm fine with that. If he did beat him clean, I don't see the issue with that. You got to start making new top talent. That is how you do it. I know you said you don't feel that he's made enough, and that's totally fine. I mean, there is an argument to be made there, and I have said, I think it was evident in the Rumble. Braun is like, whoa, like, calm the fuck down, bro. Like, he's going to get hurt. He does a lot of dumb shit sometimes, and I think it's because he's so young and has all this energy and he wants to prove himself. It's like he does some crazy shit. Calm the fuck down. It's the same issue that I have with a lot of the people in AEW that do dumb shit, like Darby. Like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Slow the fuck down. His energy and his aggression is great. It's unique to him. But he does it at the expense of some shit, and then it doesn't look great. Or he could hurt himself, or his opponent if he keeps going as hard as he does. Other than that, I see no reason why Braun Breaker should not be the world champion right now, or at Mania, or soon after. I just think the longer you wait, you're not hurting Braun, but it's just unnecessary. Why do we need the world? Like, I see what you're saying about putting the belt on Rollins first. Do not put the belt back on Rollins. I mean, also the story with Roman and Rollins is that Roman's never beaten Rollins. So you're saying that Rollins would beat Roman and then Braun could cash in on Rollins. I don't really like that. I mean, the whole story is that Roman has yet to beat Rollins one-on-one. Actually, I don't know if that's true. On a pay-per-view, he has beaten Rollins. They've both beaten each other, but he has yet to beat Rollins on pay-per-view. That's like on a big stage that matters. Rollins has beaten him. That's why Roman got himself DQ'd to the Rumble in 2022, because he was scared that he wouldn't be able to beat Rollins or whatever. That was the whole story going into that match. Yeah, I just don't like that. We don't need more world titles on Roman and then Rollins again. It's just fucking tired. I just don't have any interest in that at all. Punk is one thing. I mean, you could also argue, I'm a mark for Punk. But the difference with Punk is that Punk hasn't been a world champion in this company since he's been back. He's world champion now. Here's the thing with Punk. Punk's been world champion for the last 3 months. I think overall he's had a great run. He didn't really defend it from November to January. But in the month of January, he had 3 different title defenses against AJ Styles, Braun Breaker, and Finn Balor. All good to great matches. And he's on Raw every week. He won the title at SummerSlam for like 5 minutes, so I don't really count that. But he has yet to have a real run. Roman was champion for 4 fucking years. We don't need to have Roman as world champion again anytime soon, if ever again. Rollins also was just champion last year. And before that, he was champion going into Mania. And the year before that, he was fucking champion. Enough. Just put the belt on. I know you're saying Rollins would get cashed in on. That's fine. I am just fucking tired. I like these guys. I like Rollins. I like Roman. I like the stories. They can tell these stories outside of the title picture. Please, give the belt to some new people. Cody I like, but Cody, again, give it to some new people. Drew had to win the belt. I'm glad he did. But we got to start putting the belts on the Breakers, and the Fontus, and the Femmies, and LA Knight, for God fucking sake. Oh my God. Like, to wait any longer is ridiculous. Let's see. Andy said Reigns Punk is just much bigger. It is definitely a bigger match. Gunther and Randy at Mania, Fernando, no. I don't like that. I get it, like the whole legend killer, career killer thing. What's the end game? Orton's not retiring at WrestleMania. And if Orton beating Gunther would just be fucking dumb. We've seen it before. I mean, like, we haven't seen Orton beat Gunther, but like, what purpose would that serve? Orton doesn't really benefit from that. Orton should be working with Cody. We've also seen Gunther and Orton before, so it's not like, oh, it's a fresh feud. We can do a fresh feud. They already had 2 matches in 2024, and the finals of the King of the Ring, and even a better match at Bash in Berlin. There's no reason to do it again right now. Richie said it would be the student surpassing the teacher in a full circle moment. Oh, talking about what he said earlier. And karma for Seth for cashing in on Punk and his obsession of hatred for him. I feel a scenario like that would get Braun over as someone who can outsmart a top guy like Rollins by giving him a taste of his own medicine, and from there he's a made man. I think he's a made man if you had him win the Rumble and just win the title at Mania. You know, I don't know. I understand what you're saying, and it's not a bad story. I just think you're jumping through a lot of hoops to make him the guy when he could just be made the guy if he beats Roman or Punk. I think he's ready. I think Braun's been ready. I think he is ready. Fatu is on the verge there. Femi could be a guy. I know it makes it sound like we're rushing him into that spot. Femi's fucking ready, man. I mean, why wait? Why wait with Femi? What is the point of waiting with Femi? Just put the belt on him. Put the belt on Braun Breaker and Fatu first. But like LA Knight should be champion. I don't need more title defenses or more title reigns for Roman and Seth in 2026. I'm kind of done with that, at least for the foreseeable future. Johnny said, imagine if Batista and Cena had to wait until Mania 22 to win the top belts. Exactly. That is my point. Batista and Cena were on the main roster for 3 years. I'm not saying that as if it's a long time. I'm saying that's like nothing. They wait fucking 10 years now to put belts on people. Braun Breaker's been on the main roster now for 2. Femi just arrived, but Fatu's been here for 2 years. Come on. Let's hurry up here. J Sports Cards wants Cody and Drew. Yeah, I'm good on that. No thanks. Daniel said, oh man, that would explain Adam Lee's mess-ups back then. Jeff Harvey forever, yes. Yeah, it's been common knowledge for a long time, the whole, like, dementia thing, or whatever he's dealing with or was dealing with back then. That's why he had a lot of botches, so I feel for him. He still sucked as a GM, but that's why he botched a lot. Alexis was here earlier. I forgot to say, she said hi, guys. Hi to Alexis. Conor McGregor would be a great GM. He would not be. He hasn't been relevant in a long time. Daniel said, when Roman mentioned the bracelet, I thought Punk was going to bring up the the Ula Fala. He fucking should have. He absolutely should have. They both fought over items. Like Roman's like, oh, I'm so much better than you because you fought over a bracelet. Bro, you fought over a fucking, like, a piece of whatever it is. You fought over a lei for like 8 months. Shut the fuck up. Kadeem, what's going on? He said, with LA Knight's new shirt unchosen on WWE Shop, is there a rift between Triple H and LA Knight after 3 years of not pushing him to the moon as a main event player? Is there a rift? No, there's not a rift. I'm sure LA Knight is frustrated. He absolutely is frustrated. He's not higher up in the card. I think that has nothing to do with unchosen. I think that has more to do with the gimmick that they're doing, like LA Knight's an outlaw. That gimmick, that shirt, does not get sold or does not get worn on television, especially if you're LA Knight, without Triple H knowing about it. So it's not like a shot at Triple H. They might be playing off the Unreal stuff, but I get the sense that shirt was in the works well before the Unreal show came out a week or 2 ago. So no, there's no rift between the two. I'm sure Triple H. Here's the thing. It's not a rift, but if what you're saying is Triple H does not like see LA Knight as a top guy, or LA Knight is frustrated, he's not in a higher spot that he should be in, yes to both. I don't think that constitute as a rift, but if it's what I just explained, then yes. Fernando said, should Dragunov win back the United States Championship from Carmelo? No. If he did, I wouldn't complain. I don't really see the point of that. I would have Dragunov just work with some other top talent on the show. Who that is, I don't know. I would have Dragunov work with other people. I would have Hayes ultimately drop it to someone he has history with in Trick Williams. Trick is over. Putting the mid-card belt on it makes a lot of sense. I think that championship fits him like a fucking glove. It doesn't have to be over Mania weekend, but I think ultimately he should drop the belt to Williams. Or someone else, but I would not give the belt. I would not give it back to Dragunov. I mean, they could. I would not do that personally. Richie said, people saying that the Masked Man is Moxley made me chuckle, but so freaking for real. Be so freaking for real, he said. Yeah. Listen, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. When they played the Shield music in Mania, for like a half a second, I did think, could they? Could they do it? Anything. People thought Moxley was under the mask at Survivor Series. Bruh. Stop. Like, if he was a free agent, I almost might understand it. Like, people saying Jericho, I kind of get it. It's still fucking dumb. But I kind of get it. With Jericho, okay. Like, the idea of theorizing Jericho, I see that. We see Moxley on AEW television every week. That would be the greatest work of all time. If AEW and WWE were secretly working together, and it's Moxley under the mask, that would be nuts. That would be crazy. It's not happening, though, so we can move on from that. People that actually think it is Moxley, though, should not be taken seriously. Or they're just doing it for engagement. So they're dumb on both fronts. Fernando said, it's not a big deal, but Carmelo Hayes should have been in the Rumble instead of Mr. Iguana. Yes and no. I mean, yeah, should he be in the Rumble before Iguana? Yes. I think he should have been in the Rumble. Like, why was... Okay, so a couple things. We could sit here all day. Why was this person in? Why was that person not in? But you mentioned Hayes. Iguana being in doesn't bother me. I know we got no reaction. I didn't notice that. We were watching the show with other people, so I wasn't really paying attention to the crowd reaction. The people that we watched it thought it was funny. I thought it was funny too. I thought it was cool. Mr. Iguana is on NXT. He's on NXT AAA, Raw, SmackDown. He's been all over the place in the last 6, 7 months, 8 months, whatever. I get him being in the Rumble. He had the Joe Hendry spot from last year. That's fine. Why was La Parka in the fucking Royal Rumble? It's not even the same La Parka from WCW. It's someone else under the mask. I don't hate La Parka. I don't have an issue with La Parka. I don't give a fuck about La Parka in 2026. They already had Mr. Iguana. He was the AAA representation. You do not need another star from AAA that no one knows and no one gives a shit about. No one will watch the Royal Rumble, see La Parka in there for 2 minutes and say, maybe not even 2 minutes, and say, you know what? I like that guy. I'm going to go watch AAA. Maybe Mr. Iguana, definitely not fucking La Parka. So I would have taken La Parka out, put Hayes in there. But from a storyline standpoint, The Miz is a fucking loser, okay? Like, I like The Miz. I know they want to have him tie or break Kane's record for most Rumbles ever that he's been involved in. Never won one, never will, but okay. I get it. But from a storyline standpoint, The Miz is a fucking loser. Why would The Miz be in the Rumble before Carmelo? Carmelo is the United States champion. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make sense. It didn't bother me that much that Carmelo wasn't in it. If Carmelo was in it and got shucked in 5 minutes, then it's probably for the best he wasn't in it. But it is still odd, though, when you look at who was in it and who was not. I like Rey Fenix. Again, I like Rey Fenix. Probably for the best that Rey Fenix got shucked in a minute and not Carmelo Hayes as the United States champion. Still not ideal, though. Richie said, Brock getting eliminated during Jay's entrance and production, completely missing the shot was hilarious. The whole match was not it. The match was fine. I enjoyed the match, but it was definitely not one of the better Rumbles. Will not go down as one of the best ones ever at all. Last year's was much better, in my opinion. Yeah, Brock getting eliminated during Jay's entrance was just stupid. It's like you have Brock eliminate Oba, and then he gets chucked out during Jay's entrance by Cody and Knight. The fuck? Stupid. It's probably a politics thing. Brock's probably like, I'm not getting chucked out by that guy, but if you take 2 people to take me out, like, that's probably what it came down to, but it was still fucking dumb. Grunt, what's going on, brother? He said, out of the current possible contenders, who would you like to see face MJF at Revolution? And do you think they have a chance at winning? They do have a chance. They could absolutely take the belt off at a Revolution. I wouldn't personally. I feel like there's a lot of options for MJF, so I would not take the belt off of him yet. Whoever he faces could beat him. Who would I have him face at Revolution? I would have him face Omega. They've only had one other match, and it was on Collision. So it feels like now or never. Like, they could wait until Double or Nothing, but like Omega's in the number 1 contenders match now. I think they're going to do Omega and Paige in the number one contenders match at Grand Slam Australia or whatever that show is. Wherever they're going for Grand Slam this year. I think Omega's getting the shot. MJF and Paige, they could do that, but we just saw it at Revolution last year and Forbidden Door. Paige won both matches. I feel like the better pay-per-view match, though, is Omega MJF. And Paige has unfinished business with Samoa Joe anyway after like 4 or 5 months, but whatever. I prefer Omega, in my opinion. Although none of the options are really awful at all. I think Omega is just the best one on that show specifically. Grunt said, I think there's a chance he's the guy on the phone that Heyman called. The Rock, I mean, he said. Yeah. I was hoping, like, I'm thinking, what, fucking MJF? Heyman called MJF? No, The Rock being the guy on the phone would, but that would mean The Rock would have to commit to come back and actually do something about it. I still feel like, though, we're not going to find out who was on the phone. I feel like they're just going to forget about that and move on. That would make sense from a storyline standpoint. Richie said The Rock comes back to face Travis Scott. Remind me to take a bathroom break during that match. Holy shit. Johnny said MJF should be facing Swerve at Revolution. First time matchup, and that Diddy line was crazy. Swerve would be great. He's not facing Swerve at Revolution. Swerve lost to Andrade last week. He's not facing Swerve. I want MJF and Swerve. Honestly, I think they should save that for Double or Nothing. Omega's already close enough. Just give the shot to Omega. Save Swerve for Double or Nothing. What Swerve does at Revolution, I don't know. Maybe he faces Andrade again. I'm not sure. But it will not be MJF. We know that for a fact. Richie said Rhea and Io versus Bayley and Lyra versus the Bella Twins for the tag titles. Yeah, it'll probably end up being a 4-way. I don't think you do a match like that and then leave out Charlotte and Alexa unless they face each other. Or Charlotte faces Jade. I think Charlotte and Alexa would be in there. They would probably include Nia and Lash, right? They've been pushed a lot in the last couple of months. I could see them putting the Kabuki Warriors in there. I mean, that's like 6 teams. That's a fucking mess, man. But they also, guess what? You know what? They also had a 6-team. It was a mess too. But they also did a 6-team ladder match for the men's tag titles of Mania a few years ago. So why not the women? I would not put 6 teams in there. I feel like that's a waste of Rhea and Io. But that might end up being the match they go with. Fernando said, should Dom Mysterio lose the IC Championship at Mania and to who? Probably to Finn Balor. Finn Balor is getting a pretty big push right now with Punk, which is great. He's not beating Punk, but I think you can have him kind of rebound by beating Dom for the belt. Probably as the Demon. Or maybe Finn loses at Mania and he wins the belt as the Demon soon after. I mean, they did the Demon entrance at Mania a few times. They did it at 35 and they did it at Mania 39. He won at 35. He lost at 39, which sucked. But, yeah, I think Dom should lose the belt in Mania. I mean, it would be cool if it was Sheamus. I don't think they're going to do that. They could still revisit that story down the road. But probably to Finn Balor, and it would be the Demon Finn Balor at Mania. Fernando also asked, are you looking forward to Punk versus Finn Balor 2 at the Chamber? And what direction do you see WWE going in with Finn going forward? Well, I just answered that question. Both of them, actually. I am looking forward to it. I'm glad they're extending the feud. I like the first match a lot. The feud makes sense. You get Punk in action in Chicago, which is great. He's not just there to stand by. He wasn't even shown at the Rumble. I mean, he was on the pre-show panel. I didn't watch the fucking pre-show. He wasn't even shown at the Rumble, which is fine. He should wrestle in Chicago. I think he wants to wrestle in Chicago. And then with Finn Balor, he faces Dom at Mania and wins the belt. That's what I would do. If he doesn't face Dom at Mania, I don't know what you do with Finn at Mania. I think he might not even be on the card. So he kind of has to face Dom. Johnny said, the unified title was unnecessary in AEW. You think? What a waste. Fernando said, I got to backtrack a little bit here. Hold on. Backtracking. We have a lot of chats. I appreciate you guys chatting in. We've already been live here for quite a while, an hour and a half. Hour and a half we've been live here for, which is awesome. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you are just tuning in now, be sure to like the video if you haven't already. It would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you're a new subscriber. Hit the notification bell. You guys know the drill. I appreciate the support. Fernando said, were you surprised Sol Ruka made it until the very end of the Rumble? I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought that was great. She's great. And she's also very impressive, and I think that's a very encouraging sign for her future on the main roster. Noob said the elimination of the Kabuki Warriors, it's obvious that WWE is treating Asuka and Kairi Sane like a joke with little to no character development. I mean, there's been character development. It's just been the same story now for months with Asuka abusing Kairi Sane. So at least it is a story. It is something. It's just been going on forever. Are they a joke? Yeah, they're kind of a joke. It is what it is at this point. Fernando said, did you watch and enjoy Wonder Man? Yes, I have not finished it, though. I watched the first 3 episodes. I actually really like the show. And I can sit here comfortably and tell you it might be one of the better Marvel shows they have ever done on Disney+. And I think Loki is still better than it. WandaVision is better. Like, those shows are like the goated Disney Plus shows. They kind of peaked early with their Disney Plus Marvel shows. But it's been better than almost any. Secret Invasion sucked overall. That show is not good. Better than Miss Marvel. That show was good. It was good. It was fine. It was better than Miss Marvel. Better than what it. I mean, again, I'm only 3 episodes in. So unless they completely fuck up the show, then it's definitely one of the best shows they've done. Better than Moon Knight. Better than Falcon and Winter Soldier. Better than Hawkeye. And all of these shows I liked or thought were okay. Better than Ironheart, which I actually did enjoy. It's better than that. Better than... What else has come out? I mentioned Loki. What other shows have there been? I don't remember. I Am Groot, I guess. Better than that, which I enjoyed, but whatever. What other shows are there? I mentioned WandaVision. Agatha All Along, liked the show. Better than that. I think it's honestly one of the best shows they've had, honestly. I'm only 3 episodes in, but I really, really like the show. And the guy that plays Trevor Slattery is fucking hilarious. I love that guy. And the guy who's played Wonder Man is also really, really good. So, yeah, I'm really digging the show. Fernando said, AJ versus Gunther was match of the night for me. As it was for me as well. Excellent match. Best match of the night by far. Fernando said, better Mania story at Mania. Shawn Michaels accomplishing the boyhood dream or versus Brett, or Cody finishing the story versus Roman. My opinion, you guys might disagree, Cody finishing the story. Better match, better story, longer term story. The boyhood dream is a great moment. I'm not saying it's shit. I'm just saying I think the Cody one is better. The Cody one is one of the best Mania moments of all time. The execution of it, the match itself, how they kind of were forced into doing it, to be honest with you. The Mania 39 loss was garbage, but it did add to his win at 40. All of that combined makes it better than the Shawn Michaels boyhood dream moment from Mania 12. Better crowd. Richie said, Brie Bella hitting a shooting star 450 splash from the top of the ladder. God, that would be the day. Richie said, that'll be the new Edge spear from the ladder we needed, Graham. Oh, God. She'd be dead. I would feel bad for her kids. I mean, we don't need Brie Bella to die. Listen, no one dislikes Brie Bella that much. We don't need her seriously hurt. I fear for her safety if she were to do that. It could lead to a Total Divas reboot, though. You might be right about that. Noob said, if you thought the Bellas in a TLC match was a disaster, never forget the first ever women's TLC match back in 2019, because the ending was chaotic. Yeah, that match wasn't bad. It was a good match, but you make it sound like that match sucked. It really didn't. It was Charlotte and Becky versus the Kabuki Warriors. All 4 of those women are well more than competent in the ring. Brie Bella is not, and never really has been, so let's not put her in a ladder match, please. Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle had a great story. It did. That was a great match and a great story. Long live Mr. and Mrs. McAllister. I agree, Daniel. He's also said the crowd chanted AEW at Triple H during the post-show. I saw that. So I guess the idea that they don't have AEW over there or they don't know what AEW is isn't necessarily true, because at least some of the fans knew what AEW is, that they were chanting it at Triple H during the post-show. Johnny said, are there any Road to WrestleMania stories you would put in S tier? Well, so you didn't ask me what tier I would put any of the stories you mentioned in. You asked me what grade I would give them. There's a difference. You can't go higher than A if we're given a grade or an A+. If you're asking about tiers, I think the Cody one, I would probably keep that in A. I don't know if I'd put it in S. Road to WrestleMania stories, I would put in S tier. Maybe the Yes Movement from 30. Maybe Mania 17 with Rock and Austin. Definitely the Mega Powers. That would be S tier. Hogan and Andre, I don't know if I'd put that S tier, but it's either S tier or the top of A, among others. Home Alone or Beetlejuice, Fernando asked? Home Alone. I've actually never seen Beetlejuice. I know we've talked about this before. I've never seen Beetlejuice. I don't really care about Beetlejuice, but I have seen Home Alone a lot. Love the movie. Catherine O'Hara did not seem that old. Yeah, no, she was only 71. She was not that old at all. She didn't even look that old, to be honest. Fernando said, do you enjoy the Super Bowl movie trailers, and is there any you are personally looking forward to? I do enjoy the trailers, but the problem is now they just put the shit out before the game. It's like you really don't have anything to look forward to. They just put everything out during the fucking week, not even the day. The day of the game, they put it out the week before. I was looking forward to a Doomsday trailer, but then I saw, or a fucking Spider-Man trailer, but I saw a tweet the other day that said they're not doing a Doomsday trailer. Then why the fuck did they do the teasers for 4 weeks? Oh, we're going to go see Avatar 5 times to go see the Doomsday trailer or the Doomsday teaser? The fuck did they do that? They could have saved one of those for the big game. The fuck were they putting them before Avatar 4 and then airing them on YouTube? The fuck's that about? That shit pissed me off too. Richie said, I need a 5-year-long run for the Bella Twins where they defend the titles on Raw, SmackDown, NXT AAA, and Pro Wrestling Noah. Richie, you can see yourself out, okay? Johnny said the fans were also chanting Vince. Yeah, fuck the fans for that. They chant AEW all you want. The chants, I saw that too. We want Vince. Fucking morons. Never go back to Saudi again if that's what they're going to chant. That was during the post show, not during the show itself. What a bunch of dumb people. Not the country, but like those people chanting it. Johnny said, what women feud had the best road to WrestleMania? It's a good question. There's not a lot that come to mind. A lot of the women's stories going into Mania have been garbage. Like, for example, Charlotte and Rhea had an awesome women's Mania match. We talked about it last year here on the show. Like, was it the best women's WrestleMania match of all time? It very well might be. I think I said yes. I don't know what I said. But it might be. The feud going into Mania was terrible. Like, their promos were not good. They didn't really get much focus at all. And this was when Triple H was running the show. Like, the second match of Mania, not the first one. The first match may have had a better build than the second one. The second one's build sucked. Okay? It was not good. But anyway. Maybe Mickey and Trish, because that was a real story. It's not the best women's Mania match anymore at all. It used to be, but now it's like maybe 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9 on the list. It's really been surpassed. But the story, that might be the best road to WrestleMania story with the women. 27 had no real women's matches. Nothing from like 08, 09, 2010, 2011, 2012, no. 2013, they got bumped from the card in 2013. 2014, no. AJ versus the entire division, stupid. 2015, no. It had a story with AJ and Paige teaming up for the first time, or not the first time, but like they had already feuded, they joined forces. Okay, nice story. Not a great road to WrestleMania story. It was good though. Maybe the feud with Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky. That had a really good road to WrestleMania in 2016. 2017, you had the 4-way for the women's title. That wasn't a great story. You had like a 6-pack challenge for the SmackDown women's title. Stupid. The road to WrestleMania for Ronda's match at 34 for the mixed tag was quite good, actually. That would be up there. I don't know if it's the best. That was her and Kurt versus Triple H and Stephanie. That was a pretty good build, and the match was very good. That Mania also had Charlotte and Asuka. I don't really remember much about that build, to be honest. They also kind of waited to set that up until like fucking Fastlane or something. You had Nia and Alexa. That was fine. It wasn't great. I mean, you know what? Probably the build to Mania 35. I said the best story going into 35 was Kofi and Bryan, which it was. But the build to Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky was a mess. But it still ended up being a very good build, compelling. The match was okay. So probably the road to WrestleMania 35 for the women was the best women's story going into Mania. Like, I still remember, like, the police car thing where they kicked out the windows. That shit was pretty great. So probably that. Nothing in 2020. The road to Sasha and Charlotte Sasha and Bianca, rather, actually was pretty fucking bad. It kind of sucked. They were, like, teaming most weeks against Nia and Shayna. Like, who gives a shit? That wasn't good. 2022, you had Bianca and Becky had a pretty good road to WrestleMania in 2022. Not the best, but that one was good. Charlotte and Ronda was not good. In 2023, you had Rhea and Charlotte. Already mentioned that story sucked. You had, what else? That was for the SmackDown Women's title. For the Raw Women's title in 2023, it was Bianca and Asuka, I think. That was not a good road to WrestleMania for the women. 2024, Rhea and Becky was good. Not great, but it was pretty good. You also had, what was that year? For the SmackDown Women's Championship 2 years ago. What the fuck was the match? It was the Women's World title with Rhea and Becky. And then for the WWE Women's Championship, what was the match 2 years ago? I don't remember. Who won the Rumble that year? Oh, Bayley. Bayley and Io. Yeah, I mean, that story was mostly well told. It was not great. The match was great. And then last year was what? What were the matches last year? Jade and Naomi was good. That was a pretty good road to WrestleMania story. The three-way feud for Rhea, Io, and Bianca, the match was incredible, probably the best match of the year. The road to Mania with them sucked. The storyline sucked. It was very repetitive. And then on the SmackDown side last year, you had Jade and Naomi. I mentioned that. Who won the Rumble last year? Oh, yeah, Charlotte and Tiffany. That wasn't great. That was good. It was kind of a mess, but it wasn't good. So, yeah, some of the ones I mentioned would probably be the answer to your question. Let's see. Is the growing hate for Triple H lately something or nothing? I mean, it is something. I mean, there's been growing hate for Triple H for quite some time now. As a booker, it's been going on for a little while. It is something, as if it continues, TKO might bump him from that position. So we better hope that he starts booking better and winning those fans back, or at least kind of quieting them a little bit so he can keep his job. Otherwise, he might get replaced. So it is certainly something. Let's see. Was Roman criticism of Triple H about creative a work? I think there was some truth to it. A lot of it, now that we know Punk brought it up on Raw, I think a lot of it was a work. A lot of it was in character. But I could also see some of it being truth. Top 5 entrances today, Johnny asked? I don't know. Ilya, honestly, is underrated as fuck. His theme and his entrance is awesome. Cody's is great, obviously. Roman's is great. I know they're like old at this point. Jay's got a great entrance. His shit where he does the yeet stuff during the match we talked about, it's just fucking annoying. Who else? Stephanie had a great entrance before they changed their fucking music. Rhea, Io are good. Who else? Who else is there? I like Drew's entrance, always have. Oba's got a great entrance. He's a star. Trick's got a good entrance. There's a lot of them. Top 5 AEW entrances today. MJF always kind of feels like a star when he comes out. I love Adam Page's entrance. A lot of like the AEW entrances are more basic, but Adam Page, Samoa Joe feels like a badass when he comes out. Swerve is good. I'm naming the entire world title scene right now, but they're all great. I don't like Chris Statlander's. It just seems like she's not confident, and I don't like her music. I like Chris Statlander a lot, but I don't really like her entrance. I like Willow. She's like full of energy. I like Willow's a lot. Who else stands out in AEW? I like Darby's on the skateboard. I like Darby, so I like Darby's. The Death Riders bore me to fucking tears. I'm sure there's other ones. Omega's. I like Omega's entrance a lot. Always have. So those are the main ones. Yeah, I agree, Fernando. Stephanie Vaquera's theme song is trash. Richie said, WWE TKO making record-breaking money but can't pay a fee for fucking music is abysmal. Diff Rebel needs to get future endeavored like yesterday. Completely agreed. Johnny said, was KO and Sammy versus the Usos the best road to WrestleMania storyline for tag teams? It has to be. What else would even come close? I mean, even if you include the Mania matches with tag teams from like the early Manias, it had to be KO and Sammy versus the Usos. That was a literal main event at WrestleMania. So, yes, I think that is easily the best road to WrestleMania for tag teams by a pretty wide margin at WrestleMania. Fernando said, not surprised WWE had to impose their will even on something petty like an entrance song. Yeah, not shocked at all. It was inevitable, but it still sucks. Richie said, Braun needs a fidget spinner when he starts feeling like that. I do agree that he's eventually going to hurt himself or someone else or both. Yeah, he's got to slow the fuck down. Grunt said, hard agree. It's shameful that they let their music quality get this bad, all because they want to save some pocket change. Yeah, fuck that. AEW, listen, WWE's got a lot of great theme songs. They also have a lot of fucking garbage music. So I think WWE, or rather AEW, has them beat. Because AEW, they have some like forgettable music, but a lot of their music is not egregiously bad. Like most of their music is either really good or just at least decent or okay. WWE has some like offensively bad theme songs. So for as great as WWE's highs are, they have a lot of low lows too. So I would probably go with AEW on the whole for entrance music. Tommaso Ciampa's music, by the way, awesome. Great song. Great song. It's been stuck in my head since he debuted. The struggle is my story, or however the da-da-dun, da-da-da-dun. Good shit. His entrance is awesome. Glad he won the TNT title, by the way. That match was great on Collision. Where does Sammy go from here? I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. I feel like he might be in a multi-man match at Mania. You can't leave him off Mania again. He was left off of Mania last year. You can't leave him off of Mania again. Who he works with at Mania, I have no idea. Maybe Hayes? But I feel like it's more likely he ends up in a multi-man match. But it's like he already was United States champion. Why would we go back to that? I don't know. Anyway, Johnny said, has CM Punk surpassed this time in AEW during his second tenure with WWE? Great question. I'm going to say yes. He's officially been in both for the equal amount of time. I'm going to say yes because in AEW, he was hurt a lot more. He was suspended. So he debuted in AEW in late 2021. He got hurt by the spring. He was out for like 2 months, was only back for a few weeks, got hurt again, was gone for 9 fucking months, and was only back for 2 months. Now, the shit that we got in that Jesus Christ. I see something here in the chat. I'll get to in a moment. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm sure you can see what I'm looking at and why I'm laughing. We'll get to it in a second. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Punk was around. AEW, his AEW run was great. I mean, the way that it ended sucked, and the brawl out, brawl in shit sucked. But it was still not good, okay? That stuff was not good. The other shit was great. His matches with Darby, Eddie Kingston, the MJF feud was awesome. But everything he did in AEW, he's kind of done just as much of in WWE, if not more so. So, like, he wrestles on TV a lot like he did in AEW. He's main evented pay-per-views like he did in AEW. He's got world titles. He's already been the world champion for 3 months. In AEW, he was world champion twice. And he lost both belts immediately because he got hurt and was suspended. The promos in WWE. The promos in AEW were awesome. Not all of his promos in WWE are winners, but there's been enough good ones to make it worthwhile. His feud with Rollins has been very good. The feud with Drew is excellent. That's like the equivalent of the MJF feud in AEW. Yeah, I mean, I would probably take his WWE tenure, especially since there's been a lot less drama, too. So, he's been on his best behavior. Good little Punk. Gets a little star for good behavior. So, yeah, I'd probably take his WWE tenure over the AEW one. But that's not to say the AEW tenure was bad. It was great. He had a great run there overall. But with injuries and shit, you probably got to go the WWE tenure. Alexis is still here. I said earlier, I don't know if she's still here. She is, which is good. I don't know if she's still here now. After saying this, we're so backed up on the chats, but I think she is still here. She probably has it on in the background. Noel said, what did you think of the Roman Punk promo? Mentioned this earlier. Excellent stuff. It was very, very good television. Roman's best promo in a long time, and a great promo from Punk. Loved it. What is the stupidest thing wrestlers have fought over? Didn't Jericho and Kane fight over the fact that he like spilled coffee on him or something dumb? I feel like the dumbest shit that wrestlers have fought over you could probably find in AEW. Like, I know we joke about like the bracelet or, you know, the Ula Fala. The spilled coffee was dumb. Edge and Booker T had a Mania match over a shampoo commercial. In fact, it happened. True story. So probably that, either the shampoo or the spilled coffee. Fernando said, what do we do with Logan Paul at Mania? I don't care. I don't even hate Logan Paul. I just don't. He'll probably end up in a tag match. Genuine. Like, what else do you do with him? I don't know. He's a full-timer now, so he will be on the Mania card. He will absolutely be on Mania. They're not going to have a Mania go by without Logan Paul wrestling, because God forbid he can't wrestle on the show. I don't know. We don't need to see him in LA Knight. We've already seen that before. So not that. It would probably end up being some sort of a tag team match, but like, I don't really care. Give me Backshot's WrestleRant. So this is what I was laughing at before. That is fucking hilarious. The brother, I would imagine, to Give Me Backshot's Solomonster. Yeah, and unless it's the same person and they just changed their name. But either way, that is fucking goated. He said, LA Knight is getting booked well so far in return, but I'm not getting my hopes up. Well, yeah, it's been 2 days, so he's been getting booked perfectly fine, but he also got shucked from the Rumble like a fucking loser by Cody, which is stupid. And his Raw stuff on Raw was great. Is it a sustained push? Probably not. So you're right. Don't get your hopes up. Did you pop when LA Knight made his return? I did. And then I immediately got sad because I knew that he wasn't going to last. And sure enough, he got tossed out in 10 minutes by Cody, which made zero sense. Whatever. What is your favorite Royal Rumble match or Royal Rumble and WrestleMania posters? It's a good question. I love the poster for Mania 39, the WrestleMania Goes Hollywood the second time. What other posters have there been? Like, I have a custom-made Mania 37, WrestleMania 37 poster. The Pirate Mania in Tampa. I like that one. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to Mania posters because I feel like there's so many different ones. But 39, I'd say. For Royal Rumble, wasn't there the one with everyone on the... Like, it's either Royal Rumble 05. You know what? I take that back. The Rumble 05 one is cool. There's one from the 90s that ESPN tried to make a mock-up of last week with the modern wrestlers. I like that one. The one from the 90s. I forgot which one it was. The best Rumble poster. I say I don't pay attention to posters. That is true. But honestly... I fucking love the show, and I love the Rumble match. I try to watch it every year. And I wasn't even watching wrestling at this point. I started watching wrestling a couple months later. The poster for the 08 Rumble with the stacked roster, which is always talked about, the stacked roster for 08 inside the subway, and they're all fighting in the subway. Before Subway Mania, they had that. That shit was awesome. That's a great poster, and I love the theme for that Royal Rumble at MSG. Awesome, awesome poster. If I could get any wrestling poster, it might be that one. I love that poster. The problem with, like, you're not asking about this, but, like, some of my favorite shows had great posters, or had shitty posters. So, like, for example, Money in the Bank 2011 is one of, if not my favorite show of all time. I would love to get that poster. The problem is, the poster's fucking stupid. The poster has, like, Big Show reading a bedtime story to Hornswoggle. Who the fuck thought that was a good idea? Is that going to sell any tickets or sell any pay-per-view buys? Come on, man. So I can't buy that one. I don't want that fucking poster. But the 08 Rumble poster, great poster for a great show and a great Rumble. If anyone's taking notes, I would love to have that poster. Did I hear the rumors about Adam Copeland wanting to retire this year? I didn't hear the rumors. He literally said that himself in the video that he posted. He has said that his contract with AEW would probably be his last one. He signed it 3 years ago. It's been 3 years. It makes sense. Yeah, I mean, he'll probably retire this year. A lot of people are retiring lately. Hiroshi Tanahashi, John Cena, AJ Styles, JDC. We got probably Edge this year. It sucks, but it's what it is. Last time you like a video promo package. Like, what was the last promo package that I liked? I got reminded that the one they did for Gunther and Jey Uso, not at Mania, but they did one for their Raw rematch for the World Heavyweight Championship last June when Gunther got the belt back. That was a really good one. That was really good. WWE's had a lot of great video packages. You know what? A more recent one, Cody and Drew. They used the song by Disturbed for their 3 Stages of Hell match. Really good video package. Really, really good. The one for CM Punk at Mania last year, where they used This Fire Burns, amazing. One of my favorites I've ever seen. So, the one for Charlotte and Tiffany at Mania last year was also great. They used the Lady Gaga song. Great video package. Really, really good video package. The Cody finished the story one against Roman. One of my favorite video packages of all time. I was literally jaw dropped when I watched it in the press box at Mania Night 2 at Mania 40. They used the Imagine Dragons song for that one. I could do this all day. That's a great video package. Fernando said, I was very surprised. Roman brought up Colt Cabana to Punk on live TV. Yeah, I didn't mention him by name, but he did reference him. That was awesome. That was great. Fernando said, better Unreal season 1 or season 2? They're pretty even, to be honest with you. I think I like season 2 more. I feel like season 1 had more filler. Season 2 had a lot of interesting behind-the-scenes stuff I thought was cool. Like a lot of the gorilla shit and the producing of match stuff. Probably season 2 I think I liked more. I know I've been saying this for the last week or two. I should have my full review up of season 2 up this weekend. I wanted it up last weekend or the weekend before, but I've just been busy. I have not watched the 5th episode yet. I binged the first 4 in like less than 24 hours. I just had not had the time to finish it, but I am going to finish it soon, and the review should be up hopefully by the weekend. Give Me Back Shots WrestleRant said, wait, that wasn't even the legendary La Parka? No, it was not. It was someone who played the role of La Parka. Like, it's the same character. But I mean, a lot of people know this. In Mexico, they pass down the characters, but not like, it'll be a different wrestler. Does that make sense? I mean, a lot of people are already aware of that, but it's not like the same La Parka from fucking the 90s. That's the La Parka they use today. That guy under the mask might be like 25, 30 or something. If it was the La Parka from WCW like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that would have been fucking awesome. That would have been cool. I remember La Parka coming out with a fucking chair in WCW NWO event going, hey! Like, yo, fucking calm down, bro. Like, that shit was sick. The only match I would ever play, side story, in WCW NWO Revenge was Rumbles. That's the only match I would ever play. And then when I got eliminated, I would come back as whoever the next entrant was, as you do. And sometimes it was La Parka. He would come out with the chair in hand and go, ay! Like, holy shit. And I would love coming out as Sting because he would come out with the fucking bat already in his hand. And he would come down from the rafters, obviously. So if you were La Parka or Sting, you were set. You didn't have to go to the crowd to get a weapon. What a great game. La Parka going to face Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania in a ladder match. I would give zero shits about that. I love Rey. Let's not waste Rey on that match. It's not WCW in 1997. What letter grade do I give Jade's title reign so far? A flat D. D. She's been champion for 3 months. At least she's been on television. I can't possibly give it an F. I mean, an F would be like if she lost every match, or she wasn't on TV, or she held the belt for a month. She's been champion for 3 months. She's on TV. She's winning matches. But she's had no real feuds. Like, she was feuding with Meechin for a few weeks. Meechin got hurt. Not her fault. Now she's feuding with Jordan. Okay, are we getting it at Mania? Are we getting it at Chamber? Are we getting it on SmackDown? I don't know. But my thing with giving it a D is that she's been champion for 3 months. 90 days. She has not defended the belt once. I would go C- max, but probably a D. It's just like, what are we doing? Like, I'm all for people not defending the championship constantly. That's fine. But she hasn't even defended it once. Once! I don't know if that's an indictment on the fucking depth in that division on SmackDown or what, but, I mean, that's a big reason, but that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Grunt said, I could also see MJF versus Omega at Dynasty since it'll be in Vancouver. That's true. That's true. I could see that. That's in April, right? So you're probably right. But then Omega would have to lose to Page. He's definitely beating Andrade this week. I would be shocked if Andrade beat Omega. If he did, I'd be like, hey, okay, that's cool. But maybe Andrade does win, and then he faces Page for the number 1 contendership. All right, yeah, maybe. That could work. Maybe that could work. Anyway, imagine if Brock Lesnar challenges LA Knight to a match in Mania for eliminating him. I mean, he would also have to challenge Cody because Cody also helped. No, LA Knight would get squashed in 3 minutes by Brock, so no thanks. New mentioned Marvel Zombies. Yeah, I forgot about Zombies. Zombies was also a very good show. Zombies was actually a great show. That one was a little different. It was only 4 episodes, so it was a show, but it was more of like a mini special, to be honest. I would still put Wonder Man over Marvel Zombies. But Marvel Zombies was a very good show. Grunt said, I definitely see Copeland wrapping it up after his run with Christian. I agree. Fernando said, who would you like to see participate in the Chamber? Chamber or Chambers? Like, they're probably going to have a men's one and a women's one. And are they for number 1 contendership or for the belts themselves? Another question needs to be determined. Assuming the women's chamber is a shot at Jade at Mania. It should be Jordan Grace in there. If Bianca's back, then obviously Bianca. But Jordan, Bianca, Charlotte, Alexa, Nia, probably Julia. So what did I say? I said Jordan, Alexa, Charlotte, Nia, Julia. Yeah, I said Julia. Maybe not Chelsea. I mean, I like Chelsea, but I don't know. She doesn't. She's not going to face Jada Mania. If Bianca's back, then Bianca. If Bianca's not back, then probably Lash Legend. It's all SmackDown women. You don't really need to put any Raw women in there. And then for the men's, it will be for a shot at Drew, unless it's for Drew's belt. Obviously, Cody and Jacob. Damien's not winning. Damien always finds himself in these spots that he doesn't win. But to fill a spot, put Damien in there. I would put Ilya. I would put Sammy. So that's 5. And then Orton. There you go. There's your 6. That's what I would do for the 2 chamber matches. But here's the thing. They're doing qualifiers on Raw next week. So what are the chambers for? They said the chambers they're doing qualifiers for. If they're for a SmackDown title, then I guess Raw people will be in them because they're going to have fucking SmackDown qualifiers on Raw and only have SmackDown people. So I'm probably entirely wrong, but that's what I would do. We know someone from Raw probably won't win because it wouldn't make sense. But I guess Bianca won the chamber last year and she challenged for a Raw title at Mania, so whatever. I take that back. How should AEW book Brody King going forward? Well, he's not beating MJF ultimately for the title. He'll probably win Wednesday, which is cool. I would just give him more of a push at the TNT title level. I mean, they have a million mid-card belts. He's not going to win the world title. I appreciate the push. But after the push is over, put him in the mid-card. I mean, he should be teaming with Buddy Matthews, but Buddy's hurt, and he has been for a year now, which sucks. Yeah, just book him in the mid-card. Pretty much what they were doing before. Give me backshots, WrestleRant. Got to get in the habit of saying that. Give me backshots, WrestleRant. I was surprised they showed Mr. McMahon for the past Rumble winners. Me too. I was like, holy shit. Do you know who they did miss, though? A certain 04 Rumble winner. I wonder why. Noob said, fans chanting, "We want Vince" is becoming annoying, especially in Saudi Arabia. Who the fuck else is chanting that? I have not heard that chant otherwise. Any crowd that chants that, any body of people who chant that should never get a wrestling show again. You are a special kind of stupid if you're chanting, "We want Vince." Grunt said a Saudi crowd might be the only crowd chanting that aren't just trolling. I haven't even heard that chant trolling. I've seen it on Twitter because people are dumb. I have not heard that chant like for real. The Saudi crowd is just, not the Saudi crowd, but those people chanting it in the crowd were very fucking stupid. I didn't hear it during the show, but I did hear about it during the pro-show thing, during the post-show shit they were doing. Fernando said, do you think Andrade? You said Andrea. I think you mean Andrade. Andrade will finally be the guy we thought he would be for a wrestling company and finally meet his full potential. No, I thought his full potential, I still think at one point his full potential is being a world champion. I don't see him winning a world title in AEW. He could be. It's possible. He's been booked well since being back, and he hasn't been back for very long. He has a better chance of reaching his full potential in AEW than WWE. I'm still not confident, so I'm going to say no, but this is the closest he has gotten to being treated like a real star in any company aside from like fucking CMLL. So it's nice to see the resurgence of a push that Andrade has gotten lately. Did I like the Saudi crowd? I didn't hate it. I mean, like I said, I wasn't really listening to the crowd. I heard at different points the crowd looked like shit because they looked like there was no one fucking there, or the LED shit. That stuff looked dumb as hell. I wasn't paying attention to the crowd. I mean, I guess they cheered for Brie louder than anyone else. That speaks volumes, but the crowd otherwise, from what I heard, it was fine. I wasn't listening for the crowd. I was watching with other people, so I didn't really care. Grunt said, I'm completely down for an Andrade world title run at some point. I would be too if he stays on his best behavior and doesn't get involved in any drama or whatever, but I'd be down for it. I just don't think it's going to happen. Fernando said, when Judgment Day finally breaks up, who should be the heels and baby faces? At this point, I don't know. At one point, I said Dom and Liv, but it looks like they're going to break Finn away from the Judgment Day and Raquel and make them baby faces. What does that mean for Roxanne? I just don't know. I think it would make more sense to turn Liv and Dom because they're already beloved anyway, but they'll probably turn Raquel and Finn, or at least Finn Balor, which is also fine. Finn got a great reaction in Ireland. If you want to make him a babyface again, that's fine. Watch them just turn the whole group babyface, and then they just stay together for another 5 years. Fernando said, more fun to watch, Javon Evans or Sol Ruca? Good question. I'm going to go Javon Evans, but Sol Ruca's great too. Richie said, are you not a fan of the Bellas potentially working Joshi-style matches? Shockingly, no, I am not. Brie Bella strong style would be insane. Yeah, that'd be kind of crazy. Richie said, Danielson has to have shown her some stuff during her time away up until now. I'm going to say she probably doesn't give a shit. Having Daniel Bryan as your husband and still being as mediocre as Brie is kind of impressive. But no, I don't think he's showing her anything. He probably doesn't give a fuck, and she's probably just like, I don't give a shit either. They're both just taking care of their kids. I think Danielson's moved on from watching wrestling outside of having to do his job at this point. WandaVision, or Wonder Man was better than WandaVision, Fernando said. Interesting. Well, I haven't finished the show, so I can't say. Honestly, you might be right. I got to finish the show, and then I'll be able to say. But it is in that same conversation, though. Fernando said, if you enjoyed Drag Me to Hell, you should watch Send Help. It's a classic Sam Raimi film. Sam Raimi is back. You said that last week or the week before. I still don't know if I'm going to go see it in theaters, but I've heard enough good things that I might wait to watch it on streaming. So, Johnny said, any Road to WrestleMania stories you put in the garbage? A lot. Any of them that I mentioned earlier, Charlotte and Ronda. Cena and Cody wouldn't belong in the garbage, but it wasn't great. The match I'd put in the garbage. Triple H and Roman, the Road to Mania that year at 32 was pretty bad for the most part. Brock and Roman at 31, it was a pretty bad buildup. Roman and Taker there's so many. A lot of which involve Roman. I already mentioned that. Daniel said, I thought Def Rebel's contract was supposed to be up. I thought so too. It's like every time you think they're done, they keep coming back. Maybe they have dirt on Triple H or something. I don't know. Maybe they showed Triple H that video of him hugging Io on Unreal, and they're like, hey, we'll release this to the public, because they'll complain about it for some reason, unless you let us keep our jobs, but then it aired on Unreal anyway, so I don't know. Tony Storm and Tony and Mina have great entrances. Yeah, definitely. I forgot about Tony, but yeah, she's got one of the better entrances, of course. It's unique. My shadow knows my story. That's what the lyric is. Thank you, Grunt, for Tommaso Ciampa's theme. Alexis is still here, so I guess I said she's not here 3 times, and she is still here, so I guess she would still be listening, which is nice. Noob said, Asuka's road to WrestleMania has always been a mess because the stories never focus on her. I agree. Would I be keen to see Ciampa versus Kyle at Revolution? Yeah, that'd be a great match. Just get Kyle Fletcher away from the TNT title. Can we move on? Like, he should be higher on the card at this point. It'd be fine, but, like, I would rather they didn't. Booker and Edge fought over a Japanese commercial. There you go. I mentioned that earlier. Japanese shampoo. Grunt said, apparently Edge versus Booker T was supposed to be a hair versus hair match, hence the shampoo, but Booker T said, nah. And they did Edge and Angle for that instead. Oh, that's what it was. Edge and Angle. Okay. That's crazy. Alexis said, I was happy about Liv winning. Definitely not Roman. Yeah, I agree. I was not happy about Roman winning either. I'm still not thrilled. I don't hate it, but I'm not happy with it. But at least he's facing Punk, and the match should be good. So, could be worse. Give me back shots. WrestleRant said, do you believe they really went to Roman for permission to hire Punk back? I actually do. They didn't ask for his permission, but there were reports before Punk came back, there were reports that they had reached out to, like, talent in the company, like, gauging the possibility of Punk coming back, and a lot of people did not want him in the company. And I would guess that was Rollins and that was Roman. Now, they probably said, we don't fucking want him here, but we will work with him because we know it'll make money. So yes, I actually do believe that, because you have to have the trust of the locker room to bring someone as divisive as Punk, especially coming off of Brawl In and Brawl Out. They did not want that cancer in their locker room. It had to be okay with the people that work there. They don't want Rollins or Roman or anyone else walking out. Cody too. Cody probably didn't give a shit. They definitely did go to Roman. I think that is true. I don't think Roman is playing off a report. Like, it's not a recent report. That report was from 3 years ago. So that had to have happened. I actually do believe that. Thank you at Give Me Backshots WrestleRant. Fernando said, where do you rank Ciampa's entrance song? Towards the top of AEW, towards the top. It's a really good song. Fernando said, how surprised were you that Ciampa won the TNT title in his in-ring AEW debut? I was very surprised. I was very happy, too. Eric said, I'm surprised you're still live. I'm not. We tend to have long streams. We're only 2 hours and 12 minutes in. I say only. I mean, that's a long time, but I still have not gotten to the scheduled questions yet. We have a lot of activity in the chat, which is awesome. I said this before. Like the video if you haven't already. If you are watching live or after the fact, you haven't already done so, hit that thumbs up. It's so fucking simple. If you like the video, it increases the chances that the Bella twins will be gone on the Sooner side. It increases the chances that Ava will not come back as the NXT general manager. It increases the chances that La Parka, the old La Parka, will come back in the Rumble next year with a chair in his hand and go, hey! Next comment here from Johnny. Big Boss Man and Al Snow feuded over a dog's kidnapping. Yes, they did. And had a kennel and hell match, or whatever the fuck that was. Eric said, MJF versus AJ, double or nothing. Yes, please. That's not happening, but that would be sick. Do I see Liv challenging JC? No. Is that a serious question? No, I don't. I could see Sol Ruka challenging JC since she tossed her out of the Rumble, and Sol Ruka should have been NXT Women's Champion a year ago, but whatever. Fernando's, let's see, he was talking to Johnny. Eric said, I saw Mercy, incredible movie to me. With the Chris Pratt movie, I heard that did poorly, and I heard that was not good. But if you enjoyed it, that's great. Nathaniel said, I think Copeland wins the tag titles with Christian, but what's your favorite title win he's had in his career, Graham? For Adam Copeland? For Edge? Maybe him and Taker from SummerSlam 08. I love that match. I have very fond memories of that feud. It was what got me into SmackDown in 08. I love that Hell in a Cell match from SummerSlam. So that one, the Rollins match from Hell in a Cell. I was there for their first two matches at SummerSlam and on SmackDown in 2021. The third match might have been their best. Hell in a Cell, Saudi, whatever. Crown Jewel 2021. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's up there. Him and Cena, TLC Unforgiven is great. Any of the TLC matches. What else? 2010. And the Jericho matches were okay. I like the Christian matches he had in AEW. I really like those. I was there for one of them, World's End 2023. That was a great match. What else? Those would be the top ones. Fernando saying hi to Grunt. Johnny said Ahmed Johnson as Mr. T, as Big T, fought Booker T over the latter T in their names. Did that actually happen? Was that in WCW or something? Oh, yeah, you did say in WCW. That's crazy. That's insane. Richie saying cream, yeah. I am indeed, if you missed that Easter egg, I was indeed once called Cream on a receipt as a name. Like, they were like, oh, can we take a name? And it was a foreign person, so they did not probably quite understand or hear me. And they wrote down Cream instead of Graham. The fuck does that happen? But whatever. And then Grunt said Sugar. Eric said Andrade. Or you guys are all spelling his name wrong. Grunt did not. But Fernando said Andrea earlier, and Eric saying Androda. You sound like, Jim Ross has called him Andre before, at least more than once. Jesus Christ. But Eric did say Andrada is the WWC World Champion. Yeah, we're talking World Champion in an actual, like, major company, okay? Like AEW or WWE. It's nice he's a World Champion over there, but I'm talking like in a major company. Buff Bagwell fought Canyon in a Judy Bagwell on a forklift. I remember that. I know that one. That would also be a dumb thing to fight over. Fernando said, if AEW crushes Adam Copeland, retirement like they did with Sting, how bad will WWE look? It has nothing to do with WWE, I don't think. And WWE will look no better or worse. WWE already gave Edge 2 fucking send-offs, actually. The first one was unintentional because he had to retire out of nowhere. They gave Edge a send-off already in Toronto, I think in 2023 against Sheamus in the main event of SmackDown, and they hyped his 25th anniversary up all night long. So WWE has not done a lot of retirement tours well, but Edge didn't really have a retirement tour that year, but they did treat him pretty well on the way out. AEW doing well, Adam Copeland's retirement tour, has no effect on WWE. But it would be nice if they did, and I'm sure they would, if they know ahead of time that he's done. I don't know if they would give him the full-out tour like they did with Sting, but, we'll see. I don't think they need to. Fernando said, La Parca is the Black Panther in Mexico. It's passed on from person to... It's like the Black Panther in Mexico. It's passed on from person to person. Well, there you go. It's not the same La Parca. I'm seeing, Give Me Backshot's WrestleRant, and I'm seeing a recurring theme with Roman and the bad builds. Yeah, a lot of bad builds. Hopefully the Punk one is not among them. Eric, I already answered this, but he asked me thoughts on Steph's new music. It's, you want to know what it is? I'll pull it up for you. I have an actual visual for you. I mentioned what it was earlier, but I'll give you a fucking visual representation of what I think of Stephanie's new theme music. Hear that? That's what we call, as Steph would say in Spanish, basura. The theme song is basura, or for those that don't speak Spanish, it's hot fucking garbage, okay? Richie said, is there an argument to be made that the winner of the Men's Royal Rumble match should have gone to Bon Quivi? Yes, there is, actually. I think it should have gone to Bon Quivi. And anyone who disagrees does not know ball. Johnny said, Seth and Roman probably didn't like how Punk talked trash about Moxley. Oh, they didn't like a lot of things about Punk. I think that was definitely one of them, among other things. Richie said, leave the Bellas alone. No, Brie Bella's return also belongs... Hear that? It belongs right in that basura. Yeah, I am going to trip over that Give Me Backshot's WrestleRant name for quite a while, Daniel. It's going to take a while to get used to. I feel honored. Fernando said, I think Wonder Man is better than Agatha all along. It definitely is. I said that before. I liked Agatha all along. Wonder Man, I'm only 3 episodes in. It's already more compelling and just a better show. Eric said, hey, Charlotte challenged the NXT champion. Yeah, when NXT was relevant, Eric, 6 years ago, JC Jane, nor the NXT Women's Championship, nor NXT as a whole are remotely relevant for Liv Morgan, one of the most over women in the entire show, to be challenging her. And also, JC Jane, Rhea Ripley, who Charlotte challenged in 2020, not exactly the same thing. Nathaniel said, my favorite Adam Copeland match in AEW was the I Quit match. Yeah, it was a great match. I was thinking more... I was there for the street fight at World's End, so that might be my favorite match of his in AEW. Grunt said, the Bellas need to leave us alone. Yes, they do. Nike fan said, I think it's Roman, Cody, Drew, and Fatu Mania 42. As do I. I would prefer, I said this earlier, Cody and Orton, non-title, and then Drew and Fatu for the belt, but that's probably not what's going to happen. Better than Cody, Drew one-on-one. That would be worst case scenario. Bellas are peak. Jesus Christ. Nike fan said, I also think this Roman versus Young Punk feud will lead to The Rock returning, costing Roman the match at 42. And WWE will set up Rock and Roman Mania 43 in Saudi. Brother, that would be... I should just keep this out. We should just have this on display. You want The Rock to interfere in your Mania main event like it's 2011 all over again, to set up a match that at this point is completely unnecessary and a lot less people give a fuck about? That belongs, I love you, Nike fan, but that idea belongs in the... I gotta take out the trash today, so you're lucky you're getting the full audio representation too, otherwise it would be empty. Eric said, didn't Buff Bagwell and Tank Abbott fight in a jacket on a pole match? Probably. How was my trip to Saudi? It went quite well, actually. You didn't see me in the front row? It was great. I love the Saudi people. I love the Saudi country. It's just, it's great. I could show as much skin as I wanted. It's not like the women have to drive. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. It's only just a basic right. You know what I'm talking about? Fernando said, I'm not surprised Saudi Arabia was chanting, we want Vince McMahon. Their attitude with women's rights really sucks. Yeah, honestly, I didn't even really think about that, but you're completely accurate. Them chanting, we want Vince. In Saudi Arabia, of all people, Vince McMahon, for the shit he was accused of, is fucking rich. I really shouldn't be shocked by that. Holy shit. Richie said, I think he means in terms of if Edge wins his retirement a la Sting, whereas WWE had Cena lose and look like a bitch after years of never giving up. Who gives a shit? Cena tapping out, I said this before, Cena tapping out, I really don't care. I actually liked it. It didn't offend me. It didn't bother me. Cena still got an entire year worth of a retirement tour. The heel turn sucked, but he still had a lot of great matches. I mean, it's not like he retired out of nowhere. He also lost to Gunther. It's not like he retired against fucking Otis. I mean, his retirement tour was not amazing. But Edge's retirement, like, Edge does not have to... Here's the thing with Edge retiring, by the way. Listen, I like Edge. Edge in his last match should fucking lose. And here's why. Edge is already technically retired twice. In 2011, and he had his last match in WWE in 2023. He won both matches. Now, the first one, he shouldn't... The funny thing is, he shouldn't have even beaten Del Rio at that show. I know we can shit on Del Rio now, and it makes sense. But at that point, Del Rio should not have lost at WrestleMania. Whatever momentum he did have, and he did have momentum, went in the garbage. It went in the basura. Because he lost to Edge, and then he lost again in Extreme Rules. He shouldn't have even won that match anyway. But, whatever. They probably would have had him lose to Edge at Extreme Rules. Okay, whatever. Edge retired. He shouldn't have won his last match in WWE. I'm not saying everyone has to lose in their last match. Him beating Sheamus, I liked. I didn't have an issue with it. But, he has to lose. He should lose in his last match. Edge does not have to win his last match in all of these different companies. He does not have to win. May not have to tap out, but he definitely... Honestly, I'd prefer he fucking lose. And he probably would prefer to lose anyway. Nike fan said, I might be the only one happy to see the Bellas return and go after the tag belts. I grew up with them from their debut in 2008, so I'm happy to see them go after these belts that didn't exist back then. I mean, it's fine. It makes sense. I still don't give a fuck about the Bellas. I wish we got this tag team reunion for them 6, 7, 5 years ago. Why now? Legit. They've been back for other runs for the last 7 fucking years. Why are they returning now? Nikki's been back for I guess, I don't know. Nikki had neck issues, but she was also in the Rumble in 2022. They could not have done this back then. I don't need to see now. I'm not blaming anyone who wants to see the Bellas back. I said this earlier, a lot of people are big Bellas fans. I have no issue with that. I'm not, but I get it. Richie said, having an outside guy have a better send-off than what WWE did to their top babyface would look embarrassing. I don't really think it matters. I don't think Edge getting a retirement, a great retirement in AEW, which genuinely, I think Edge isn't even around often enough in AEW to even have a fucking retirement tour. Sting, I think, has wrestled more matches in AEW than Edge has in AEW. The guy's been filming a movie for 6 months. What the fuck is this guy? I really don't think it matters. I mean, they gave Edge his final match. They heavily promoted it for his final SmackDown. They didn't really do much with Edge prior to that point. But, here's the thing. With Edge leaving in 2023, if they knew Edge was retiring, which was an option, but it wasn't like he knew he was retiring, they probably, I would hope, have done more with Edge to give him better send-off, to let people know that he's done. But it was always an option of, I might go wrestle somewhere else. And he did. I don't think Edge getting a good retirement in AEW really fucking matters. I mean... Also, I think we're overstating, and I love Adam Copeland, I love Edge. A lot of the AEW fans really don't give a shit about Edge. They don't really miss Edge. I don't really think he makes much of a difference to AEW. Him being gone has not mattered one iota to their programming, which is why I don't think a retirement tour for Edge would really make much of a fucking difference. Just my opinion. I think it'd be dumb if Edge got a retirement tour. If he did get a retirement tour, cool, whatever, that's fine. The guy's also 50-something years old. But anyway, Sting was 65, but Sting also meant a lot more to AEW than what Edge has so far. I just think it's if Edge gets a retirement match or a tour in AEW, the first thought that AEW fans having is, or anyone having, oh man, WWE fucked up. Who cares? The way they handled Cena on the way out was not ideal, but the tap out thing, I get what they were going for. And me personally, I had no issue with it. And I don't think that has anything. I just don't see the correlation between him and Edge, and their respective retirement tours. Raquel should have won the belt last night. No, she should not have. I said that earlier. It would have been a nice moment for her, but she's just not. I think Raquel's improved a lot. She should not be the champion going into Mania. Raquel and Liv is a significantly weaker Mania match than Liv and Stephanie. Basura, caca, garbage. I agree, Richie. What are you watching on $5 Tuesday night? Nothing. It's Alexis's brother's birthday tonight, so we're going to be celebrating his birthday. No movie tonight. We're actually going to go finish Wonder Man. Or watch more of Wonder Man. We're not going to be seeing a movie tonight. Next week, planning on seeing Strangers Chapter 3. The movie looks terrible. The first two were fucking awful. But I have to go finish the story, so next Tuesday I'll most likely see that. Bret Hart and Roddy Piper was fire. A great match. The story he's talking about. Yeah, great story as well. Eric said Trevor should have been in the Rumble, so I could break the record for fastest elimination. You said Grant. Well, it's you call me the wrong name, but it's okay. I would have eliminated Trevor in less than 0.2 seconds because the guy's a piece of shit and does not belong in the Rumble. Fuck Trevor. Richie said new WrestleRant gimmick unlocked, the garbage. Yes. La Basura. This is where the Bella Twins return run belongs. Ready? All together now. Rock returning at WrestleMania to cost Roman the title and then setting up a Mania match next year. Vince McMahon's entire existence. I think I see that in here too. Alberto Del Rio in 2026. Shall I continue? Johnny said, better TLC match, Edge versus John Cena or Edge versus Taker? Edge and Cena. Edge and Taker's great, though. I do like that match from One Night Stand 08. Do I like that main event scene? It's pretty crowded. I do, because it makes it more interesting. In both companies, actually. I do like that it's crowded. It does leave some people out, but that's a good problem to have when you have so many people that are over and are realistically believable at the main event scene in both companies. Johnny said, what do you think of Lita? What did I think of Lita as a manager when she was with Edge? I wasn't watching back then, but I think she played that role really well of what I have seen. And she got a lot of hate, unfortunately, but they capitalized off a real situation, and it's a very memorable pairing. It was a very memorable pairing. Let's put it that way. And a lot of memorable segments, so I think she was great in that role. And she also won the Women's Championship after a while, too, so it's not like she didn't still wrestle. Daniel said, basura, exactly. Richie said, Edge should come back to WWE and lose his last match to Ricky Saints. I agree. I don't know why Ricky Saints... Oh. I just realized what you're actually getting, and that's pretty funny, actually. Based on what happened and that promo segment a few years ago, actually, you know what? That'd be hysterical. Who do I see Gunther retiring next? I don't know. They retired everyone that could retire. I mean, it could be Brock, but I don't think it should be Brock, and Brock should lose to Obafemi, not Gunther. Gunther beating him is fine, but I think Obafemi should retire Brock. So I don't know. Who does Copeland face in his last match? It would probably be a tag team match with Christian against, I'm going to say, maybe the Bucks. Honestly, the Bucks could be the new career killers. They lost the Sting, but maybe they could beat Edge and Christian. Who knows? Johnny said, I hear Seth versus Breaker at Mania is going to be for a free-year subscription of ESPN+. By the way, on that note, the pay-per-views on ESPN Plus are fucking garbage. The quality's fine, but it's to get access to log in, it's garbage, man. Just the Peacock wasn't much better. Just get the fucking network back. I did say 6-7, Richie. I did. Mercy is trash. I heard the same. So you're saying Mercy is... Wait, hold on. You're saying Mercy, Fernando, belongs in the basura? Grunt said, thoughts on Ciampa becoming the new leader of the Death Riders, and of the two, who would you rather see take the Continental title from Moxley, Claudio or Pac? Keep Ciampa the far fuck... I mean, I think the worst possibility for Ciampa would be in the Don Callis family. The next worst thing would be putting him in the Death Riders. The group sucks. I'm sorry, Grunt. Yes, it has improved. We've talked about this. The group is still directionless. They're feuding with the Don Callis family. They put me to sleep. The group sucks. Are they baby faces? Are they heels? Keep them far fucking away from that faction. Who should take the title from Moxley? Claudio. Pac has been international champion before. He's had singles title reigns in AEW. Claudio is not. He's been Ring of Honor world champion, but give it to Claudio. Fernando said, were you a fan of the Who Ran Over Santa Claus storyline with Del Rio? No, it actually, the funny thing is they turned Del Rio the week before, and then they turned him back heel for a night for that storyline. And then they turned him back babyface right after. It was very weird. Richie says, happy birthday, big dog, to Alexis' brother. I will let him know. Johnny said, I wouldn't mind seeing CM Punk wrestle someone in Barclays Center with a pizza pie on the line. I would not. Nathaniel said, if Copeland gets a great retirement tour, I would be happy. I don't think it affects anything about WWE. I also think Tony Khan probably has big plans for him when he comes back. Probably. I mean, the big plans for Edge and Christian are winning the tag titles. I mean, that's what the plan is. Grant Cream SM Matthews, Jesus Christ. Graham's disdain for Trevor is sending me. Trevor is another one. Trevor, we should put a fucking name tag on this trash can and say Trevor on it. Hello, my name is Trevor. What was that, Trevor? What do you have to say? You're a piece of shit? I agree. Fuck you, Trevor. GSM trash can ASMR, I agree. Sounds like money to me. More title scenes should be more crowded more often. I agree, Grunt. I agree. Did you finally meet Trevor in Wonder Man? No, not Trevor. Trevor Slattery is great. This is a different Trevor. Richie said, Gunther about to retire Trevor if Graham had his way. If I was booking, yeah, Trevor would be the first one to go. Trevor and, maybe not Bunt Quivy. Love Ziggler, perhaps. Tyreek doesn't show up. Tyreek is our fucking Roman Reigns. Okay? Tyreek is Roman Reigns. He's on a part-time schedule. He shows up when he wants, and he's a piece of shit. Okay? Yeah, and I agree, Rich. He said, at this point, this whole chat and all 30,000 subscribers are part of the damn Don Callis family. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Grunt said, are you glad the Bucks killer super kick theme and entrance is back? Yeah. I am. It's a better theme than the heel one they had. I was happy they went back to it. It kind of feels like they're just back at square one, which I guess isn't a bad thing, but it's like, where do we go with the Bucks from here? Tag team champions again? Like, it was nice to hear the music again. I am glad they have that entrance back. It feels like, what more can they possibly do in this company other than leave eventually? But I am glad to hear it, that song again. It is a good theme song. Fernando said, did you get to the Doorman episode yet? It's my favorite episode for Wonder Man. No, that's the next one. I only watched the first three. That's the fourth one. So I'll watch that probably later today. He said, I also recommend Wrecking Crew with Batista and Jason Momoa. It's very funny. Okay. I saw Batista doing PR for something. I guess that's what it was for. I have not seen it. Is that on like a service or something? Is it on like Amazon Prime or some shit? Richie saying, the trash can better become a weekly staple going forward. It must be. I think it has to be. If you guys say so, then we'll make it a weekly staple. Tyreek gets a big pop every time like Roman 2. Exactly, Daniel. He gets a big pop. He says one thing. He says acknowledge me, or he says love Ziggler, and then he leaves. Tyreek. Come on, Tyreek. You guys are just bringing up all the memes today. Jesus Christ. Richie said Tyreek is my GOAT. He can do no wrong. Did Tyreek win the Rumble like Roman Reigns did? We might have to have a WrestleRant Rumble. Tyreek would win. Because he's not going to put anyone else over. He's not going to put over Love Ziggler. We know that. He doesn't even acknowledge Love Ziggler. When you're right, Richie. I agree. Low-key, the biggest babyface in the wrestling space. Yeah, he is. That being Tyreek, not Trevor. Trevor's a piece of shit. Johnny said, Moxley, Claudio, and Ciampa have bald heads. Ciampa would be an ideal fit. Yeah, the bald crew, I get. Well, put Ricochet in there instead at that point. Give me Backshot's WrestleRant. Is the triple single in the Basura category? Yes, it is. Fuck the triple single. We still don't know what that even means, by the way. But if we did, Trevor probably has something to do with it. I'm sensing a conspiracy. Triple single? Oh, there it is. Triple single. I can hear it. Grunt said, hey, I'd be happy in the Don Callis family. Hey, if there's free fucking catering in the Don Callis family, then sign me the fuck up. RJ's already a member. RJ has his card and everything. So you should, if you want entry in the Don Callis family, just ask him on Thursday. Fernando said, your trash can should be a prop and segment at the end of every stream, all the wrestling topics that you didn't like put in the trash can. I like that idea, actually. We should bring that back up on Thursday's WrestleRant Radio with RJ. I'll ask him, what from Royal Rumble would you praise? And what from Royal Rumble would you put in the trash? At which point we'll bring out trash. Dude, it makes sense. Trash, Trevor the trash can. I think we're on to something, guys. I think we're on to something. Richie said, LOL, forgot about the damn triple single. Trevor, triple, trash. I think there's a conspiracy here, guys. Trash can is so over right now. Grunt said, I will. Hook me up, RJ. Yeah, hit up RJ. He'll send you the forms. I think they have a 401k, health insurance, free food. They pay for your travel in the Don Callis family, so it's a good gig if you can get it. You'll never appear on TV, but at least you'll get all those benefits. All right, so what we're going to do now, guys, is do the scheduled questions. We are 2 hours and 37 minutes in, and only now are we getting to the scheduled questions. Jesus Christ, but this has been a lot of fun. But that's what we're going to do now. So here are these scheduled questions. Let's get to it. If you want to send in a scheduled question, I will explain again at the end of the video how you guys can do so. But Jordan B. from YouTube. Who should win the World Women's Mid-Cards and Tag Titles in AEW, TNA, and WWE this year? Jordan. I love you. He won the Royal Rumble game. He won the 2026 Royal Rumble game. I love you, Jordan. What kind of question is this? I have no idea. You're asking me to name like 30 different people I want to see win every title in every company. I'm not answering that. I do want LA Knight to win a world title. That's probably what I want more than anything. It's about it. It's really all that I want. I'm a man of a few things, a few requests. Jordan, second question. Except for Chris Jericho, how would you rank the Big Show's tag team partners among The Undertaker, Kane, and The Miz? Those are all, like, not great. I mean, Jericho is number one. We'll go back to the chat, by the way, at the end, so don't worry. If you guys send in chats in the meantime or answer the questions with me, we'll go back to the chat afterwards. But I mean, all of those partners were abysmal. Probably Taker, and then Kane, and then Miz. Big Show and Taker was the most memorable team. Big Show and Kane was like 06. That was when who the fuck were they feuding with? Carlito and Masters? The Spirit Squad? Who cares? The Miz lasted the least. They were tag team champions for what? 2-3 months? So I'll go Taker, Kane, then Miz in that order. Nike Fan 01, who was here earlier, said from YouTube, what were your thoughts on the 2007 Royal Rumble pay-per-view from top to bottom? That is a very random question. I'm going to assume you meant 07 and not 2026. If you're talking this year, I thought the show this year was good, but it was far from great. I thought it was fine and enjoyable, but not great. 2007, legit have very little memory of that show. I think that show was what? Batista and Ken Kennedy? I think. Okay. I think they did Bobby Lashley in Test for the ECW title. That was not a good show. I think they did the Hardys versus Eminem. That was a good opener if I remember correctly. The 07 Rumble is good. The 07 Rumble I think is a good Rumble. The great final two. But it's overall not a great show. I've only seen the entire show. I've only seen the show in its entirety once, many years ago. Not a show I'd go back and rewatch. No L from Facebook. Do you see either Sami Zayn or Jacob Fatu winning the chamber to challenge Drew at Mania? Jacob, yes. But if they're doing a chamber to determine Drew's opponent, I think it will end up being Drew and Jacob and Cody in a triple threat. I don't love that idea. I like it more than Drew and Cody. I've already said this a lot. Drew and Cody 101 belongs, you guys know where, in Trevor the Trash Can, right here. That's where that belongs. Triple threat, good idea, still unnecessary. I'd rather see Cody and Orton. If it was one opponent for Drew, give it to Jacob. Please have Jacob win. That will not happen. I think Jacob and Drew is the least likely that they go with one-on-one. I think it's most likely triple threat, then Drew Cody, and then Drew Jacob. Drew and Jacob is the best option, but it's probably the least likely. Do you see Liv Morgan challenging Stephanie Vaquer or Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's World Championship? Well, Raquel lost last night, so it's probably going to be Stephanie. But yes, I see Liv Morgan challenging Stephanie at WrestleMania for the Women's World title. Justin K from Facebook. He said, I've been really chapped that Peacock removed all the WWE content, and now we resort to bullshit navigation of YouTube channels and Netflix to watch classic content. Also pisses me off too, by the way. With the WWE having a massive library and UFC having a massive library, would you be open to a TKO streaming service featuring the two? That's almost as if they're bringing back the WWE network, right? What a shock. Yes, I would be open to that. If it was as well organized as the WWE network, then yes. They're not going to do that, though. If they did, they would have done it by now. They're not going to. They don't give a fuck about the classic content. They don't give a fuck about us. They don't give a shit. So that's not going to happen. Would be cool. They own the content. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to say won't happen. Would I like to see it? Yeah, because we had everything organized. We had it so good with the network. We did not know what we had until we did not have it. I mean, I knew what we had when we had it because I love the network. I watched the shit out of the WWE network, but I still miss it every day. All right, give me 1 sec. I have to move up like my little camera thing. No, fuck. Hold on. No, fuck you. There we go. I have to move that there. No. Hold on. Okay, we should be good. Give me 1 sec. Boom. Bring that there. All right, we should be back and should be able to read all the questions. Fuck, I scrolled too far. Hold on. Fuck. Okay, I'll scroll back down in a couple minutes. Let's go back here. Boom, boom, and boom. Okay, Justin's second question. I have been a fan of the Cruiserweight divisions in both WCW and WWE, and when they brought it back, with WWE likely out of the question of returning the division, would you be open to a Cruiserweight resurrection in AEW Ring of Honor since they have guys that can fit that build with Leo Rush, Commander, Dante Martin, Sammy Guevara, Tony Nese, Action Andretti, etc.? I answered this a week or two ago. The answer is no. Yeah, WWE, absolutely not, because they have tried the Cruiserweight division many times. It has never worked out ultimately. In AEW, brother, three-quarters of the AEW roster are Cruiserweight, so it just doesn't make sense. So I'm going to say no to that. I understand what you're going for, but they also already have a million titles and divisions. They don't need another one, so the answer would be no, nor do I want to see it. At Iwagu91, with Ava gone from WWE, who do you think will be the NXT general manager? I said this earlier. I think it'll be Robert Stone. He's already there anyway. He's already basically an authority figure. Paige would be nice. I saw Fernando throw that out earlier. I mentioned that earlier. Paige would be cool. Yeah, Paige. Regal would be ideal, but I don't see that happening. Regal ideal, but I don't see that happening. Your thoughts on Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis as the general managers of their respective brands? I love it. I think they're both great. The problem is I think Nick Aldis should also be in the ring, or exclusively in the ring. And he's been in the GM role for too long. At this point, he's probably not wrestling, which is a shame. Whatever. I think they're both great in their respective roles. Adam Pearce has been in that role for a lot longer, and he's been doing an excellent job. Do I think Mercedes Moné will win the AEW Women's World Championship this year? I do. I do actually see that happening. Maybe not right now, but maybe closer to All In. Let me go back here to the chat. Hold on. Boom. All right, last couple questions. At Millennial Noob, with Ava gone, who's going to be the NXT general manager, I would definitely bring William Regal back to NXT because seeing him on TV again will be great, and he'll help lead this generation of NXT talent. Already answered this. I don't see that happening. He already travels with the main roster in Triple H. I don't see him doing NXT as well. I would love it. That would be amazing. I just don't see it happening. I think Robert Stone is the safe bet, like I said before, because he's already there anyway. Do you think that Asuka's heel turn has been a bust, he asked. It looks like we're going to go for a feud between Asuka and Kairi Sane at WrestleMania instead of Asuka and Io, so whoever in creative handles the storyline, good luck. Has it been a bust? No, but I thought it would lead to Io and Asuka on a big stage. We still haven't gotten that. So I guess you can call it a bust. They won the tag titles, lost it in like a month or two, like 6 weeks. So I guess it kind of has been a bust. She really is not any of a bigger deal as a heel than she was as a babyface. The story to the turn was great. Everything after that with her has been kind of just there. And I thought the aftermath and the fallout would be better. Last question, with Brie Bella making a return to the Royal Rumble over the weekend, do we see them winning the WWE Women's Tag Titles? Yes. There is no way they reunite the Bellas and have them announce their intentions to challenge for those tag titles unless it was going to happen. It will happen. I don't really care about that, but it's a story to tell. I get it. They deserve it. They were one of the first tag teams in the modern era. I understand it, but I personally don't really care for it personally. But yes, I do see them winning the tag titles, probably at WrestleMania. That's what I expect to happen. All right, let's see what else here. Forgot about the damn triple single. Yeah, I know. I mentioned that before. Get a piece of duct tape and write Trevor on it and stick it in the trash can. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. Nick Gimmick now solidified. Yes, I agree. It's now over. Got to get in time to spend some time with Takeshita and Fletcher before they split from the group. Yeah, it's one of the benefits of joining the Don Callis family. Grunt said, all I want from 2026 is seeing Ospreay win the AEW World Title. Yeah, I want to see that this year too, assuming that he's back. Hopefully he's cleared at some point this year. Daniel saying, what the fuck did I just say? Did I said that? I said that, right? Grunt said, non-title wishes are seeing Nakamura leave WWE and AJ Styles showing up in AEW. I would be completely fine with both. I would love to see AJ in AEW. I just don't think it'll happen. 2007 on the whole was pretty good, aside from the Benoit shit, obviously. Hardy's, Eminem. Oh, the Rumble, I forgot Cena and Umaga was on the show. Yeah, that's obviously the best part of the show. Hardy's, Eminem, Cena, Umaga, Last Man Standing, and the Rumble itself were all solid. Yo Eastman Gucci, what's going on? He said, do you think we'll see it at Mania? See what? I don't know what you're talking about. Grunt said, nothing can top the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, so all the talent mentioned in the question would be better off just going to Japan and competing for that title. I agree. Grunt said, I think the Casino Gauntlet is the closest we get to a Rumble equivalent. In AEW, yes. And I think the concept is great. Just don't abuse it and do it constantly. Yeah, Ben who? Yeah, exactly. He won the 04 Rumble. I just forgot who it was. And Grunt said, which I'm fine with. Fernando said both, but I don't know what he's talking about exactly. Fernando also said, will you be doing a Mania watch-along like you did with past Rumble events? With an old Mania, probably. I did one for Mania 26 last year on the 15-year anniversary. If we did a 15-year anniversary this year, it would be Mania 27, which was terrible. So maybe we can make fun of that show. Hey, maybe we could do a watch-along for Mania 17. That'd be awesome. I'm not doing a watch-along for Mania 42. I'll be there most likely, hopefully. So I'm not doing a watch-along for that. But for an old Mania, a Mania 17 watch-along would be a lot of fun. So maybe that one. And then Richie said, this Benoit guy sounds like he belongs in the trash. You mean in Trevor? Trevor the trash can? That's where he belongs. All right, guys, this has been a lot of fun. Another long stream here today, almost 3 hours. Appreciate the love. Thank you so much. Be sure to like the video on the way out. Drop a comment, subscribe, all that stuff greatly appreciated. Shout out once again to the channel members, Alexis, Miss Bob Matthews, Dillon, DiGiacomo, Mrs. Renee, Daniel Malcolm, at I'm Quarter on X, DJ Swerve1, at Swerve1 on IG, Mr. Marceau on X, at RJ_Marceau. John Ritland right here on YouTube, Real Honesty with John Ritland, Richie Red Planet Wrestling on YouTube, Real Honesty with John Ritland also on YouTube, and Average Grunt at gruntwrestling.bluesky.social on Blue Sky. Appreciate the support. Be sure to like the video. Check out all the information on channel memberships down below in the description box. Be sure to also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on notifications to be notified every single time we upload new content and every single time we go live here on the channel, typically Tuesdays and Thursdays for #AskGSM and WrestleRant Radio, respectively. And I think that's about it. This has been a lot of fun, guys. I'm glad you like the new format with the comments coming in on the side. We'll keep doing that in the future. As long as I have time to put it together, we'll keep with this format because I love having the comments. You guys can see it. The questions as well. Always fun. I think that's it for plugs, too. I think we got everything out of the way. I'm hoping to have my Unreal review up this weekend, so keep an eye out for that. We will be back on Thursday around 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That's the tentative start time for the show on Thursday. Myself and Mr. Marceau, WrestleRant Radio, reviewing the Rumble and talking any other news in the world of wrestling come Thursday. So keep an eye out for that. Richie said 24-hour stream. You just have 21 left. I would die before that happens. But, hey, maybe someday. We've talked about it. Maybe someday. Grunt said, fun as always. Thank you, Grunt. Appreciate you. Hope you guys have a great week. And Richie said, I guess I now have to go back to doing work. That's all of us, brother. That's all of us. I feel that pain. I still have a lot of shit I got to do. I was so fucking busy this past week. I'm still busy now, and I'm busy over the weekend, this past weekend. And I still have a lot of shit I got to catch up with. So keep an eye out for all the reviews coming to WrestleRant.com, by the way. And as well, article tomorrow. Wrestlers that need new theme music in WWE dropping on Bleacher Report. Should be up tomorrow morning on BR. So keep an eye out for that. All right, guys. Have an awesome one. I see Rizabu. I don't know how you pronounce your username, but he said Drew, Orton, and Cody. Everyone's been dropping in and saying that here in the chat. That's a fine match. I still prefer Drew and... Oh, you said Orton, actually. You're not saying Fatu. Oh, yeah, fuck no on that match, actually. Absolutely not. You're going to do that match and leave Fatu out? Thank you for the comment, but that would be terrible. Leave everyone out but Fatu? No thanks. A four-way with the two, all four? Okay, maybe, but that's just a bit of a mess. Just do Drew and Fatu. Orton and Cody is its own thing. I've spoken my piece. Until next time, guys, I'm Graham GSM Matthews. Have an awesome. We'll be right back here on Thursday for WrestleRant Radio. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll catch your ass down the road.